Moving that one forward, finds Carter Lowe through the neutral zone. Lowe waits, takes the shot, kicks aside, rebound, scores! Cole Bodwin!
Welcome to the WFCU Centre in Windsor as we get ready for tonight's game between the Barrie Colts and the Windsor Spitfires. I'm your host, Mike Poirier, joined alongside Josh McCann and Gene Pereira. For this Barrie Colts team, a huge win last night over the Sarnia Sting. And the reason why I say it's a huge win is because they clinched the Central Division crown, their second straight year as division winners. And, you know, for the Barrie Colts, this team has been on a roll really since the Christmas break. Getting wins are right now on an 11-game winning streak, a chance tonight to extend it to a dozen wins. But it's not going to be easy here against this Windsor Spitfires team.
Yeah, 22 1-1 since December 28th. That's it's all right. Could have gone 24-0, but you know,
that's all right. Let's just be casual about it.
Well, funny you bring up casual because that's how the Barrie Colts have been about clinching the division. You know, it's kind of, you know, Cole Bodwin said last night, you know, it's good. It's something to celebrate, but the second it shifts to tomorrow, it's who cares about it anymore? Refocus, and that's kind of what happens when, you know, the Barrie Colts, they've really controlled the division since December 28th. They picked up a big win over North Bay, and it kind of felt like the division was pretty much wrapped up then. It was a pretty big gap already at that point, and it was going to be tough for North Bay to get back in. And the Colts have continued to increase that gap, and now, not even in the March, the Barrie Colts have clinched the playoffs or divisional championship. And last night, obviously, a pretty good game. I mean, Barrie, they put in a pretty good effort. I mean, that Patrick Quinlan in net kind of surprised everyone with a big performance there. And then Barrie, really, their only negative last night, maybe a bit of discipline issues, a lot of misconducts, a lot of fighting, but same for Sarnia on that side of things. And at the end of the day, I think the power play. 0 for 5 shorthanded goal against. That's something the Colts are going to work on coming into today. But like you mentioned, it's not going to be easy. The Windsor Spitfires do have the best penalty kill in the OHL, and they're one of the best teams as well.
Yeah, and this Windsor Spitfires team right now sitting first in the West Division, 1 point ahead of the Flint Firebirds, as that's been a bit of a surprising race, as many at the start of the regular season. We all said that, you know, the Brantford Bulldogs will be one of the favorites. And then in the West, it was a toss-up between Windsor and Kitchener. No one really talked about the Flint Firebirds, and I think maybe that caught this Windsor Spitfires team off guard, because at the trade deadline, we saw the big splash, Kevin He going to the Flint Firebirds, but Windsor then responds, bringing in Nathan Villeneuve and Alex Ferrand, and then Jakob Fibiger from the Brampton Steelheads, and suddenly it's an arms race here in this West Division, and this Spitfires team, they're no slouches.
You can't forget about the Sioux Greyhounds either. I mean, they've been really good as well this season. That division, it's pretty tight, and it's going to come down to the wire at the end of the day. And you know, those 4 teams, it's kind of similar to the Eastern Conference, where it's going to be really top heavy, and some teams are going to have some pretty tough matchups in round 2. And for Windsor, they've put themselves in a good position when you look at the guys they've acquired in Ferran and Villeneuve and Jakob Fibiger. Of course, they gave up JC Lemieux, which hasn't looked great right now because Lemieux got some ice time in Sudbury and now has taken off into a really strong player there. He's playing really well for Sudbury. But Windsor, I mean, since the deadline, they've been good, but they haven't been great. They haven't been among the top teams like a Barrie, like a Kitchener. They've more been kind of middle. They've still been better than 500, but not too much better. But you look at this roster tonight and you look at the lineup, they're definitely going to be a tough team to beat come playoff time, and it's going to be a tough battle here tonight for Barrie.
Well, the Windsor Spitfires as well, playing a 3-3. They started off Thursday night at home against the Peterborough Petes. They ended up winning that game. Last night, they were up in London, where they won 6-1 over the Knights.
Easy.
And yeah, they cruised that one. Liam Greentree, though, I think playing against the Hunters, had a little inspiration from what happened at the World Junior Hockey Championships. But, you know, we saw with the Barrie Colts last weekend when they played that 3-3. They were able to overcome those challenges. And this is where we're going to see what this Windsor Spitfires team is made of. And also to note, talking to Dylan Smoskowitz before the game, the Colts, they took the bus down to Windsor last night after the game against the Sarnia Sting. When they got to the WFCU Centre, it was at the same time Windsor arrived from London. So both teams getting to the rink and probably to bed at about the same time. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams regroup here.
Yeah, it's that kind of works out for the Barrie Colts. Obviously, you think about the road trip, and you're thinking it's going to be a tough the next day, but Windsor's actually maybe in a worse spot. Third game of a 3-3. They got in late last night as well. So I mean, it's the same as we talked about last week in London. At the end of the day, no excuses, especially when you're one of the best teams in the league. It's not time to make excuses. It's time to win games. And for Windsor, they're going to try and come in, and they're a pretty tough team. I think the biggest advantage the Barrie Colts got tonight is Joey Costanzo started the first 2 games. He gets them the win over Peterborough, and then obviously big match against London in the Western Conference matchup there, and they start him again. So it's Michael Newlove tonight. We'll have to see how he can perform. Obviously, you saw last night how a goalie with a bad save percentage looked against Barrie, so they can't take it lightly just because Costanzo's out and Newlove's in, but still, that feels pretty good for Barrie getting that goalie matchup with Parevic versus Newlove.
And we want to say hello to Richard, who sent the super already, the $10 super. So thank you very much, Richard. Says it's for our intermission snack. And this is going to be interesting because here at the WFCU Centre, we're in the rafters.
Yeah.
So they used to have us in the press box across the ice. So we're on the opposite side in the rafters. It was an interesting walk getting up here. So you're going to have a fun challenge trying to figure out how to get snacks here today.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe.
You seem nervous.
Well, I'll make you a deal, Richard. I do promise we're not just going to take your money. If we can't get it to work today, we'll buy a sweet treat in Brampton, and that way, if anyone sends any money in while we're in Brampton, we can kind of splurge.
Well, then we can carry over.
We can get really fancy here in Brampton.
So we're going to see what we can do, Richard, for sure. But again, thank you for your support. We appreciate everyone's support in this broadcast as we're coming close to the 2026 OHL playoffs. So we're going to go to the Coach's Corner presented by Mariposa School of Skating, where we were able to catch up with head coach Dylan Smoskowitz.
Catching up with Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz. Big win last night. When you look at the standings, there's now that letter Y next to the Barrie Colts in the standings, clinching the Central Division. I know we talked a bit about it yesterday, but how are you feeling here today after that?
I think, being crowned division champs is always a nice feather in your cap. I don't think it does anything to change our mindset or our approach to today or the amount of work we still need to do before playoff time. All it means is there's a floor to as low as you can finish in the conference this year. So we still want to strive for better. We still want to improve. We still want to be reaching for more. But again, one more banner goes in the stands, and everyone's pretty happy about it.
And last night, needing overtime against the Sarnia Sting, that was a team that Quinlan and outstanding in net there. It seemed like Bodwin, though, had his number there late.
Yeah, he did. But I think, even though he had the 2 goals, I think, Cole probably had, 12 or 13 shots. He was all over it last night. And for as good as the kid played, Quinlan was pretty good. I don't think we made it hard enough on him. I thought he saw a lot of pucks. I thought a lot of pucks hit him kind of square. I would like to see some more traffic tonight. I would like to see some more bodies at the net. If a goalie's going to have a great performance, it's better be a really great performance, not one that we make easy on him. So looking forward to our forwards kind of crashing that blue paint tonight.
And now you're playing a Windsor Spitfires team that they're playing tail end of a 3-3. You guys have been there before, so you know what it's like. But this is a pretty good Spitfires team right now, leading the West Division.
It's a really good team. It's a really good team. It's an experienced team. It's a big team. Built very similar to us. And if you think that the 3-3 is going to waver us, it's not, because arguably our best game of the week last week was on the end of a 3-3 as well, and very similar. A home game in London, home game. Windsor had the exact same schedule. In Windsor, in London, back in Windsor. They had a really good showing last night in London, a dominant showing, you might say. So we know what we have in front of us here. We know our work is cut out for us tonight. But our guys are ready for it. They had a good week of practice, and again, not a great game for us last night in terms of the video. We want to show a lot of learning from that, but a good opportunity to bounce back tonight.
And I know a lot of Colt fans pretty excited for this matchup, seeing 2 teams that are built quite similar, ready for playoffs. As a coach, when you're breaking down the video and you're seeing this, does it excite you that you get to see it up close?
It's definitely exciting. It's not even a measuring stick. It's more of these guys are battle tested. We're battle tested. How are we going to react? How are we going to, manage the crowd? How are we going to manage our emotions? It's a really good test for us, and there's going to be so much that we're going to learn about our group. There was a ton that we learned about our group last week when we played Brantford, another battle-tested kind of playoff team. There's going to be a ton we're going to learn about our group tonight. So, whatever happens tonight, I'm just looking forward to going over the tape and getting these guys in for practice next week, and again, improving on whatever performance we have tonight.
So that was Barrie Colts head coach Dylan Smoskowitz in the Mariposa School of Skating Coach's Corner. Now, it's Star Wars night here at the WFCU Centre, so there's a whole bunch of glow stick lightsabers in the crowd right now, and they've got the music going. So it's quite the environment here in Windsor, and really playing it up. And we'll see if the force is with the Colts or with the Spitfires here tonight.
I think the force is with us up here in the heavens.
Well, we're way up high. We're here in the rafters.
I'm glad there's no like, well, there's a roof obviously, but like there's no catwalk above us, so like there's no like ropes that are gonna like sneak attack us here. We can see our surroundings, so we're safe, but we're really high up here.
Yeah, it's a unique situation here, and this arena is one of the. Many describe this place as the palace for the Ontario Hockey League. A lot of people love going to Canada Life Place in London. It's a mini NHL experience, but coming down to Windsor, something else. But we'll see how the Barrie Colts react. And even in the interview there with Dylan Smoskowitz, he talked about the atmosphere in Windsor. This is a team that has won Memorial Cups recently. There's a pride that comes with this organization. And when you come here as an opposing team, it's not an easy venue to play in, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Barrie Colts adjust, especially after what we saw in London, where they allowed that opening goal against the Knights, but really took over that hockey game, and it's probably not going to be as easy as that tonight against Windsor.
Yeah, Windsor's a bit more of a better and skilled team than the London Knights are this season, and but there is a calmness around the Barrie Colts about really everything. It seems like these days, if it give up a goal, so what? We'll move on, and that's kind of the attitude you got to bring to this game here in Windsor. But I think obviously as well, Barrie Colts are kind of getting used to these atmospheres. I mean, they're playing in Windsor tonight, London last week. The games at the Savlin Arena have been very hectic as of late as well. So they've had the crowd for them and against them. That crowd last night was a pretty rowdy Sarnia crowd, feeling like they're on their desperation last breath here to try and make a playoff spot. So yeah, it's going to be a great atmosphere tonight, but as well, Barrie Colts, they've gone through a couple of big atmospheres as of late.
Now, looking at the lineups, the Barrie Colts making a bit of an adjustment. Justin Hanser didn't play last night in Sarnia. He's put back in the lineup. So the Barrie Colts going with 11 forwards and 7 defense. So Teague Vader, who filled in for Hanser last night, stays in the lineup. So a bit of a adjustment there, preparing for Windsor.
Yeah, it's obviously when you have 2 forwards suspended and 1 out with an illness, you're kind of running out of forwards on this trip. So I think Barrie brought 11 forwards and then 8 defense as of right now. And for Armstrong, obviously, he did his job last night. I mean, no one's expecting him to go out and score a goal. He did a good job, though, in his own zone. And as well, Eamon Edgar is from the area here. So off the start of the game, Baudouin and Hemming are going to be out there, but it's not going to be their line mate, Mason Spesky. It's going to be Eamon Edgar on the left wing, at least for the first shift.
Yeah, it's a nice touch there from the coaching staff putting out Eamon Edgar, but he's actually been fitting in quite nicely on that fourth line. The fourth line, again, against Sarnia even last night, having a strong showing. And if the Barrie Colts are going to have success or continued success as they look to extend this winning streak to 12 games, they need all 4 lines to be active, especially that fourth line, to give some of the top players a bit of a break.
Yeah, you look at last night, I thought the third line did their job. Obviously, they don't get on the board, but you're not expecting those lines to get on the board every single night. Sometimes it's going to be Baudouin and Aitchison getting the job done, obviously, and it was Cole Baudouin last night. But you look back on that last weekend, that 3-3. Game 1 was won because of the fourth line. Against Owen Sound, that was the fourth line's game. Game 2 against London, they might survive without that fourth line's goal scoring, but they still put in a really good effort, got a couple of goals. But then, unfortunately, Jane Newton gets injured, so they can't get that line together the next night. Luke Gover was able to provide a lot of physicality the next night, but the third line took over the game. A big effort by Schneid, Lowe, and Crombie. Crombie got a goal, Lowe got a goal, and then he got a goal disallowed as well. So a really good effort by the third line. All 4 lines have really come alive for the Barrie Colts over the last little bit. We'll see if that continues into tonight.
So the players are now coming onto the ice, getting ready for this one. And another storyline that's going to be fascinating is the rivalry between Kayshawn Aitchison and Nathan Villeneuve. Of course, Colt fans quite familiar with Villeneuve with his time with the Sudbury Wolves and everything that transpired over the last couple of years. So it's going to be neat to see, does that rivalry carry over in this game here tonight?
Yeah, we all know the history, and we obviously know Barrie and Sudbury don't like each other, and you got Barrie Colts taking on a couple former Sudbury Wolves. We all know Windsor and London don't like each other. You got a former London Knight and Ben Wilmot taking on the Windsor Spitfires as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight at the WFCU Centre as we get ready for puck drop here between the Barrie Colts and the Windsor Spitfires. They're about to do the national anthems, but when that wraps up, we'll return and we'll have puck drop here between the Barrie Colts and the Windsor Spitfires. Welcome to the WFCU Centre as we're getting ready for puck drop between the Barrie Colts and the Windsor Spitfires. While we have a moment, let's take a look at our starting goaltenders presented by Crankhurst Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm.
Well, for the Barrie Colts, it's start number 39 on the season for Ben Horebic. Horebic currently with a .920 save percentage and a record of 25, 8, 2, and 3 on the season with a 2.81 goals against average, coming off a win against Brantford last Saturday where he stopped 30 of 34. For the Windsor Spitfires, it's the 2024 first overall pick in the U18 draft in Michael Newlove, getting appearance number 21 of the season. 9-4, 2-2 with an 880 save percentage and a 299 goals against average. His last start came February 12th against the Sarnia Sting, where he got the win, stopping 18 of 22.
So our referees tonight, we have Hayden Verbeek and Joe Manette. And on the line, it's Brandon Flood and Phil Nadeau, as we are just set to go here between the Colts and the Spitfires. Two teams with aspirations for deep playoff runs. Could these teams meet in the OHL final? Well, we'll find out in a few weeks' time. But right now, the puck is dropped, but they're going to redo this, as it didn't seem like Jack Nesbitt was ready to take this draw here. So we'll try it again. Nesbitt versus Baudouin, and here we go. Face-off won by the Spitfires as they take it into their own zone. Robinson sends it up the wing. Greentree got a piece of it, so no icing. Horebic, he's going to send this one around the boards. Puck comes back to the blue line. That's sent into the corner. Trying to get it is Nesbitt. Nesbitt loses it to Aitchison. There's a big hit. Throwing his weight around was A.J. Spellacy. Hemming in his own zone. Passes it across to Aitchison. Keyshawn Aitchison reaches center. Edgar's going to tip this one deep into the Windsor zone. After it is Robinson. He takes a hard hit there from Baudouin. Puck's taken away by Hemming out at center ice. Aitchison dumped it in, so delayed offside. This will give Windsor some time. Andrew Robinson sends this one deep, and that's going to be an icing call now against the Windsor Spitfires.
Well, for Barrie's second meeting of the year with Windsor, they lost the first game at the Saddle Arena, game 3 of the season. The Spitfires are the only team the Colts don't have a point against this season. They've beaten 17 of 19 opponents this year. Against the Sioux Greyhounds, they lost in a shootout twice, so they got 2 points against them. But Windsor 0-1 with a regulation loss.
Yeah, that's going way back to September is the last time we saw the Windsor Spitfires in action. And here's a chance right off the face-off. Crombie to the net, stopped by Newlove. Calvin Crombie was just trying to force his way, and then Wilmot throws a hit on Spellacy. Puck's kept deep in the Windsor zone. Cristoforo is going to move it ahead. Cristoforo carries it out to center ice. He'll dump it in. No icing, so Windsor can make a line change. Hanser comes back to pick it up for the Colts. He's knocked over. Play goes along the boards. That's Nathan Villeneuve, who's throwing his weight around, the former Sudbury Wolf. Puck comes to the point. Belchitz fires that one wide. Fibiger down low, trying to carry this one around is Alex Ferran, the other former Sudbury Wolf. At the point, Cristoforo, his shot deflected wide of the net. Fibiger puts that one over the net. That's going to come back to the blue line, kept in by Cristoforo. Another shot, stopped by Horebic, bouncing around. Belchitz comes up with it. Back to the point, Cristoforo, another shot from the point, stopped by Horebic. Puck still loose, and the Colts are able to get this one out. Some great chances early on here for Windsor as they're trying to get back in the zone. Belchitz passes that one over. That pass across, deflected by Newton. That's going to go around. Chasing after it is Desiderio. Fibiger gets to it first. Puck goes in the air. Colts can't get it out. Picking up there is Ethan Garden. Garden tied up there by Desiderio. Schneid, he'll pick this one up, skates it up through center ice. William Schneid into the attacking zone. His shot stopped by Newlove. Desiderio trying to send it back. Newton fires in front. Schneid stopped by Newlove. Puck's loose, bouncing at the side of the net. And the Spitfires will send this one forward, and that's going to escape to center ice. Trying to get a stick on it there is Caden Harvey. He sends it into the Barrie zone. Colts pick it up behind their own net. That's Cole Emerton. Emerton's going to skate this one forward, gets to the blue line, deflected by Schneid. Walton comes up with it for Windsor. Passes that one ahead. Spitfires trying to send it in. Newton knocked it down, back to center. Near side. That's Walton. Connor Walton, the brother of Kieran Walton. Vader sends this one into the zone. Woodall knocks it down. Hemming picks up the loose puck. Into the corner he goes. That is Besky. Couldn't hold on to that one. Walton's going to go behind his own net. Passes this one forward at the point. Passmore puts it off Baudouin. Puck's loose. Belchitz will skate this one forward. Zabowski, the former Barrie Colt, will send this one deep. Ends up in the corner, picked up by Passmore. Here's Zabowski. Passes it up to Bodwin. Back to Mason Zabowski. He'll skate this one in for Barrie. Sends it forward, deflected, and that rolls onto the net. And New Love will cover it up, but what a pace to this game so far.
Yeah, great start for both sides. A great look by Schneid off a beautiful pass by Newton, getting it out front. Then we wondered how the Villeneuve-Perrin factor would pay off, and already Villeneuve with a big hit on Hanser, and then Hanser took him out of the play right out in front. And obviously, No Love lost. Barrie played 7 of their 8 meetings before the trade deadline with Sudbury, so Villeneuve, Walton, they got a lot of games in before getting traded. And of course, Kieran Walton now in Peterborough, we'll see them last week of the year. And then Barrie finally plays Sudbury for the last time. Not next Saturday, but 2 Saturdays from now.
Face-off won by the Spitfires. Robinson gets this one out of the zone. Greentree got a stick on it. Here's AJ Spellacy on the wing. Spellacy trying to cut to the net. Stopped there by Aitchison. Spellacy will put it back to the blue line. Kept it at the point by Brown. That goes to the net. Hrebeck can't get it. He's got his Spellacy's stick tied up in his mitt. Spitfires keep this one in the zone. Von Richter lost his stick. Puck goes to the corner. At the point, Greentree fires, and that's going to go wide of the net. Brown can't hold on to that one. That's taken out by Crombie. Quickly ahead to Gardner. Brad Gardner puts this one around the boards. Crombie after it. Takes the hit from Robinson. Crombie chasing after it. Spellacy gets a stick on it. Brown sends this one forward. That's chipped out. Nesbitt, backhand pass to Spellacy at center. He's going to skate this one in for Windsor. Takes the shot, blocked by Passmore. That stays in play as it ends up in the near corner. Crombie backhands this one down the ice. Chasing after here is Cole Bodwin. Bodwin hits the brakes. Holds on, fires. That's blocked by Christopher. Another chance. New Love the save. He kicks out the rebound as Passmore was down low, but couldn't get that one to go. Spitfires are forced to clear it down the ice. That's going to be icing, but my first question is, what was Evan Passmore doing at the side of the net?
You don't see that often, but the Colts were making changes to their forward, so they did have a couple guys back. So Passmore thought, hey, we might as well step up, and came close there to getting a goal. We look for Baudouin there, who was out with McCormick and Edgar, of course. Only 3 centers for Barrie tonight, so Baudouin, Gardner, and Jade Newton are going to be able to get some extra minutes with McCormick and Edgar. Of course, you can also move Edgar to center if you want to get Hemming or Dubetsky or Wilmot out there for an extra shift as well.
So face off to the right of New Love. They didn't do this one cleanly, so they'll try this one again as Baudouin takes the draw up against Jack Nesbitt. Face off won by the Spitfires. Robinson got a stick on it. That won't escape the zone. Puck's in front. Zabowski back to Hemming. Hemming fires, and that's deflected out of play. As this Barrie Colts team going toe-to-toe right now with Windsor. Like, the pace for both these teams is something else.
Yeah, good start for Barrie. 5 shots in the first 4.5 minutes of this one. Saw last night Dylan Smoskowitz putting Wilmot with Baudouin and Hemming for a majority of the game, but it's back to Zabowski tonight. These 3 played great together on last Saturday against Brantford. Hemming, of course, he was out there for 6 goals. He was +6.
Yeah, Hemming getting the job done for this Barrie Colts team as that's going to be sent down. Ferran got a stick on it. Won't be icing. Aitchison goes back behind his own net. Sends this one ahead. Baudouin gives chase. Cole Baudouin losing his stick. Ethan Belches had it for a moment. Villeneuve had his pocket pick. Good work there by Zabowski. He's going to skate it out for Barrie. Zabowski at center ice. He'll dump this one in. Far corner. Cristofaro had his stick lifted there by Hemming. Puck's in the corner. Fibiger sends it ahead. Ferran loses it. Hemming at center ice. He's tied up by Belches. Hemming enters the zone here for the Colts. Poked away by Cristofaro. Kayshawn Aitchison will take it back to his own blue line. Here's Justin Hanser. Hanser sends this one across to Desiderio. Ahead for Newton. Newton forced to go back. He had McKeish in front of him. Puck's bouncing. Picked up by Schneid. His shot blocked. Gets it again. Down low. Desiderio can't get a stick on it. Hanser's going to come off the point. Justin Hanser down low. Cristofaro gets a stick on it. Spitfires can't get it out. Newton deflected it. Back to Schneid at the point. His shot on net, and New Love, despite some traffic in front, gets a glove on it. And that's something Dylan Smoskowitz wanted to see more of. More traffic parked in front of the opposing net.
Yeah, well, it worked last night on that first Baudouin goal. Gets a deflection with the screen as well. don't think anyone in the arena could figure out whether the puck went in or not. Another good look there for the third line as Schneid, Newton, Desiderio off to a strong start to this game.
So face-off coming to the right of New Love. Won by the Spitfires. There's Wyatt Kennedy. Gardner had it for a moment. Ends up in the neutral zone. Von Richter's going to dump this one in. Ends up back at the blue line. Crombie sends it forward. Into the corner it goes. Kennedy, former North Bay Battalion, takes a hit. Wilmot will send this one around. Coming off the blue line is Von Richter. Von Richter lets that one go by him. At the blue line is Wilmot. Down to Von Richter. That got past. Gardner takes the hit from Kennedy in front of Crombie. That went off his skate, and Caden Harvey will send this one across to McKeish. He'll put this one back into the Barrie zone. Eliasson there to play it. Sends it around the boards. Wilmot trying to chip that one ahead. Von Richter gets it out. Here's Calvin Crombie through center. Crombie carrying it in for the Colts. Takes the shot. And New Love again makes that glove save as the shot's now 6-2 for the Barrie Colts. As Windsor had those quick shots in the first minute of the first period, but since then, Barrie started to take over.
Yeah, Villeneuve and Ferran, that line alongside Ethan Belchez, they had a couple good chances, but outside of that, not much going on for Windsor right now. Spitfires team, like we talked about in the pregame, they've been good since the trade deadline, but they haven't been that elite team that we've seen throughout the year. But the one benefit they've had is that Flint hasn't exactly taken off since the deadline either. So right now, Windsor 1 point ahead of them, and then you got the Sioux sneaking around. They're 7 points out, kind of in a spot where it's like they're there, but is there enough time for them to make up the gap, especially with the injuries the Sioux's gone through recently?
Yeah, and with the Windsor Spitfires, they've lost all three of their games so far against the Kitchener Rangers. And because of that, we're now seeing Kitchener start to take a lead at the top of the Western Conference standings. But still, second place up for grabs between Windsor and Flint as we're down to the last 10 games of the regular season schedule.
Well, 1 to 4 is so tight there. It may come down to in that 2-3 matchup and the conference finals matchup. Who has home ice?
Spitfires get this one down the ice. That's Dubowski, the former Colt. He takes a run at Keyshawn Aitchison. Aitchison up to Vader. Zeke Vader's going to skate this one up as we're down to 13 remaining in this first period. Aitchison dumps it in. New Love out of his net to plant. Can't get a stick on it. Near side Robinson. Robinson, his pass picked off by Edgar. Eamon Edgar to the net. Takes the shot. Stopped by New Love. That would have been a storyline there as Eamon Edgar from the area had a chance to open the scoring.
Yeah, nice look there as he's able to get around. The defender there gets it to the net. Nice save by New Love. It's a strong start to this game. Set been a bit busy here through the first 7 minutes as Barrie now at 7 shots.
Oh, we've got a scrap here as Liam Greentree was tied up with Keyshawn Aitchison. They started throwing jabs at one another. I didn't see what happened as it was a crowd of players who were just skating to take the face off, and then suddenly Greentree and Aitchison were tied up, and those two are going to go off for a couple of minutes here. Actually, it's Spellacy.
I thought him and Greentree were going at it more than the Spellacy was in there, but I thought it's more Aitchison and Greentree, the maybe new rivals. Of course, Greentree traded to the Rangers. You got that Rangers Islanders.
The Battle of New York in the future. Well, not sure how that all started. As everyone, like I said, they were going to the face-off dot to the left and New Love, and suddenly they were shoving and whatnot. So those two are going to go off. So it's going to be a 4-on-4 situation for the full 2 minutes. They're going to bring the face-off now outside the Windsor blue line.
Of course, they do it while I was talking.
Of course.
I can't even remember what I was talking about, so it's okay.
Well, if you remember later, you can continue your story. Face-off won by the Spitfires. Cristoforo is going to backtrack here. Goes over to Fibiger. Fibiger being pressured here by Cole Baudouin. Fibiger gets away from the Colts captain. Jakob Fibiger through center. Passes it up to Nesbitt on the wing. Nesbitt drops it back to Fibiger. He loses the handle of it. Now the Colts come the other way. Here's Cole Baudouin charging down the wing. Baudouin stays with it. Takes the shot. Stopped by New Love. As Greentree again mixing it up. This time going after Cole Baudouin. And we'll have to wait and see if we get any penalties out of this. What's going to be interesting after what happened last night in Sarnia, Joe Manette was the referee in last night's game, and he's here again in Windsor. So is there going to be any carryover even with the officiating?
Well, maybe we'll have to see. A lot of misconducts last night. We just got the horn because Aitchison's stick broke in the penalty box, so he had to get a new one. So yeah, Baudouin made a nice play around Greentree. I don't know if that got Greentree annoyed or if he didn't like how close Baudouin got to Newlove, but yeah, went right after him. And named Greentree a bit feisty here, right off the bat against a couple of his former teammates on Team Canada.
Well, Greentree had a great night last night up in London, recording a hat trick in the 6-1 victory. As Greentree, right now, second in team scoring, 32 goals, 27 assists for 54 points, only behind Nathan Villeneuve. Face-off won by Windsor. Cristoforo is going to continue that one around the boards. Fibiger on the far side sends this one back behind the net. Cristoforo facing some pressure there from Gardner. Belchis will come to pick it up. Ethan Belchis, projected top 10 pick in the upcoming NHL entry draft, and that's going to go down the ice in an icing call now against Windsor.
Well, Windsor, they got a pretty deep offensive group, but nothing more deep than their defensive core they got going there. You got Carson Woodall with 59 points on the year. You got guys like Robinson, Walton, Kennedy, all really strong in their own end. And then their third pairing, Fibiger and Cristoforo, have a combined 86 points right now. Now, granted, Cristoforo is splitting between forward and defense right now, but that was kind of struggling a bit on the offensive side of things as of late, so they've moved him back to defense the last couple nights.
So the 4-on-4 continues for a minute 17. Face off to the right of Newlove. Villeneuve taking the draw against Ben Wilmot. Face off won by Windsor. Fibiger is going to take it back behind his own net. Jakob Fibiger will skate it ahead. Passes it up to Cristoforo. That got away from him. Justin Hanser back to collect it now for the Colts. He'll go back behind his own net. We're at the 8-minute mark of the first period. Still no score to report here in Windsor. As the Colts get into the attacking zone, Gardner back. Here's Hanser to the net. Waits, decides to go around the goal. Hanser back to the blue line. Von Richter to Gardner. One-timer block. Wilmot! What a stop there. Went off Cristoforo. Was some pretty passing there from the Barrie Colts on this 4-on-4. Von Richter has it at the point. Sends this one ahead to Ben Wilmot. Wilmot can't handle it. It's going to escape the zone. Colts still with possession. Far side Gardner chips it ahead for Wilmot. Wilmot, nice move to carry this one in. Drops it back, but some miscommunication there. Gardner, though, picks it up. Wilmot on the near side. Wilmot, Gardner, one-timer, misses the net. Colts trying to move this one around, but it's the Spitfires who come up with it. Woodall, he'll skate this one out. The penalized players will come out in 12 seconds. Windsor with possession. It's Nesbitt into the attacking zone. Trying to go around Emerton. Takes the shot, and that goes wide. Back to the point is Robinson. Robinson rides the line. Sends this one over to Woodall. Woodall comes to the near point. Back to Robinson. Back to even strength hockey. Robinson fires. That goes off Woodall. Zabeski puts it off the boards. Woodall trying to send it to the corner. Nesbitt kicks it forward. Barrie will come up with it. That's Cole Emerton. Emerton spinning in his own zone. Up the wing. Finds Zabeski. Cross-ice feed. Aitchison comes after it. Aitchison's going to dump it in. He's going off for a change. Around the boards. Crombie. Down to Zabeski. Back to Crombie. Crombie kicks it forward. It's in the paint. Loose puck backhand by Newton, and that's blocked in front. At the point, Barrie can't hold on to it. Here comes AJ Spellisy with speed. Spellisy weaving his way in, hits the brakes. He'll come back to the point, dumps this one around. Back to the corner it goes. Passmore surrounded by red sweaters. Eliasson's there, goes back to Crombie. Calvin Crombie flips this one ahead. Newton's going to chase after it, and that's going to go down the length of the ice, and it's icing now against the Colts. The shot's still sitting at 8-2, as Windsor's kind of been hemmed in their own zone for a lot of this first period.
I've seen Greentree and Aitchison chirping at each other again, this time from the bench. But yeah, Barrie, really good effort there on the 4-on-4. A couple of great looks. And then Wilmot right out in front, that big block by Cristoforo. That one was destined to go in, if not for the block. And then Gardner with a big one-timer that just went an inch wide. And they had Newlove sprawling around there a couple times, but just couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, that was some great passing on that 4-on-4 situation. Just there's a quick shot off the draw. That's going to be blocked in front. Firing that was Caden Harvey. Another shot, and Hrebic to save, and then a Spitfire player goes down. And as we get some more pushing and shoving, as it looks like it was Baxalta and McKeish who went down. I think Eliason was in the middle of it, but no penalties are going to come from this.
Now, Lyson gave him a little shot, and then McKeish went down. Don't think the Colts were too happy with how quickly he went down there. Ben Rebick hasn't been busy tonight, stopping 3 of 3 through the first 10 minutes, but got a chance to talk to him yesterday, and it'll be interesting to see how his strategy goes into tonight. As he told me, it's same as always, just stop the puck.
I like how simple he keeps it.
He's a simple man, you know.
A simple man with some great looking equipment right now with the retro
He was
look.
even very simple with that too. He's like, yeah, the gloves came and they looked like that, so I got the pads too.
I just love his outlook.
We were all excited, like, oh, is it like a retro look? Oh, they just came like that.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd keep it
The same.
Puck's deep in the Windsor zone. Walton's going to skate it out. Takes a hit there from Hemming. Hemming ties up Walton. Desiderio trying to move it as the battles between the benches continue to dig for it. Ferran will send it back to Villeneuve. Cross-ice feed to Kennedy. Kennedy's going to dump it in. Takes a weird bounce in the corner. Hrebeck guides that one over to Von Richter. Von Richter takes a bump, trying to get it out. Puck's at the point. Captain Kennedy fires. That's wide of the net. Side of the goal, but not able to get there in time was Dabowski. Colts get this one down the ice. Just over 9 minutes left to go in this first period. Still looking for our first goal. Here's Ethan Garden. Garden takes the hard hit from Aitchison. What a hit there, and Garden trying to mix it up with Aitchison. Puck's at the point. Woodall stopped by Hrebeck. Puck goes to the corner. Hanser with a big check. Took out 2 Spitfires with that hit. Edgar trying to send this one ahead. Stopped by Woodall. And that puck's going to go out of play. But my, oh my, both Aitchison and Hanser throwing their bodies out there.
That big hit there by Aitchison on Garden. You've mentioned it a couple times recently, how he's kind of trending away from not doing those as often. And I think that kind of helps him as well, because it surprises people more when it happens. You know, if he's not going for them every game, you're not as expecting them as much. And a big hit there on Garden. We've seen that night after night, how physical the Barrie Colts have looked. And that's going to be big going into the playoffs. It's playoff hockey. It's very physical. And if you're more physical than the other team, that puts you in a pretty good spot.
Well, these two teams may be in different conferences, but this does have a bit of a playoff feel to it. As the puck comes back to the Windsor blue line, McCormick picks it up. That's taken away by the Spitfires. They're going to send this out to center. Here's Jonah McCormick again. He'll dump this one in. Bouncing in the corner, Brown after it. He'll send this one up the wing to Woodall. Woodall skates it out for Windsor, sends it across to Spellacy. AJ Spellacy with some speed along the boards. Eliason trying to keep up with him. Spellacy sends this one around the boards, ends up on the near side. There's Carson Woodall. Woodall to the point. Nesbitt fires, and that's going to be deflected out of play with 8:10 remaining in this first period.
Strong start for Barrie here, and kept it up. Windsor's had a good response. A couple of shifts in the offensive zone here over the last couple of minutes, but Barrie, for the most part, kept them to the outside, not letting them get any lanes towards the net, create any grade A chances on Ben Hrebeck.
So we'll get this face-off to the right of Hrebeck. Taking the draw here is McLaughlin. Up against Brad Gardner, but one of the Colt players had his stick snapped, so has to come back to get a new twig. That's Calvin Crombie. So reset up, face off to the right of Hrebeck. So John McLaughlin taking the draw against Brad Gardner. Face off won by the Colts. Sends up in the corner, throwing his weight there. That was McKeish. Colts, though, they're going to get it down the ice. Back at the Windsor blue line, Cristoforo puts that one off. Wilmot into where it was. Puck's loose. Wilmot in front. Gardner can't get to it. Cristoforo's going to clear it. Strange sequence of events there. Gardner tripped up. He's going to send it back, but the Spitfires clear it. Back in the corner it goes. Eliason throws his hit on Harvey. Colts up ahead. Long pass to Ben Wilmot. Wilmot into the zone. Drops it back. Gardner. Quick shot. Stopped by Cristoforo. Barrie just continues to fire at Wills. McLaughlin goes the other way. Drops it back to McKeish. His shot off a skate. Comes back to the point. Cristoforo keeps it in. Gardner throws the hit. Steals the puck, and he's going to skate it up. Gardner across to Crombie. Crombie reaches center. He's going to dump it in. Off the end boards. Bouncing behind the Windsor net. Ferran. He'll pick it up now for the Spitfires. Passes it up. Villeneuve can't control it. Zabeski takes it at center. Dumps it in. Nathan Villeneuve comes up with it now for the Spitfires. Long pass, knocked down at center ice by Ferran. He's going to dump it in. Hrebeck trying to get a stick on it along the boards. Hanser. That's going to be sent forward to Baudouin. Quickly over to Hemming. Emil Hemming reaches center. He's going to dump it in. Ends up in the corner. Robinson there to collect it. Spitfires with possession. Kennedy along the boards. Zabeski knocks that one back behind the Windsor net. Spitfires moving up. Villeneuve chips this one out to center ice. Aitchison's going to pick it up for the Barrie Colts. Aitchison facing pressure here from Greentree. And that's going to be a penalty against the Spitfires as Greentree trips up Aitchison. And the fans here at the WFCU Centre are voicing their opposition. So a delayed call right now against Windsor. Aitchison's going to send it ahead to Hemming. Hemming takes the hit. Loose puck. Hemming gets to it and sends it back to Hanser. So delayed penalty. They've got the extra attacker out there. Hemming has it at his own blue line as the Colts try and set something up here. Hemming skates this one in, goes through a couple of red shirts, and then they touch it. So we'll get our first power play of the hockey game, and it's going to be for the Barrie Colts.
Colts getting power play look here as it was Belchez using that big frame of his 6'6", obviously, as he heads off to the box, and Aitchison just working around, and Belchez gets him tied up and swings him down. Windsor fans not happy, but I thought it looked like a bit of a penalty there, and Colts get a power play. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, last night, 0 for 6, shorthanded goal again, so Barrie's power play will be looking to be a bit better tonight against the best penalty kill in the OHL.
This Barrie Colts power play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com, and because of that 0-6 performance last night, power play is now 4th in the OHL at 26.2%. And as Josh mentioned, this is the best penalty kill in the OHL at 83.2%. Colts trying to move it around, but it's the Spitfires who find it, and they'll get this one down the ice. Hrebeck, he's going to leave it there for Emerton as he comes back to pick it up. 1:42 left in the man advantage. Emerton sends it back to Baudouin. Cole Baudouin across to Emil Hemming. Hemming skates this one in for the Colts. Trying to go across, that went off his skates, and the Spitfires are able to get this one out. Hrebeck, well out of his net. He's just going to leave it there for Emerton. Power play now down to 1:22. Hemming to Baudouin. Cole Baudouin through the neutral zone. Passes it over to Gardner. Ahead to Baudouin from the corner. Sends it around the boards. Aitchison after it. Aitchison in the corner. Loses it. Kennedy throws a hit. Aitchison had his stick tied up. Trying to play it around. Puck sent to the near side. There's Greentree, and he's going to clear it out. Hemming after it. Here comes Nesbitt. Nesbitt almost got there short-handed, but Emil Hemming able to get to it first. Gardner enters the zone. Aitchison takes it away. Fibiger got a stick on it. Cristoforo's going to clear it out. Good penalty kill here for Windsor, keeping it simple, as the penalty to Ethan Belchez is now down to 43 seconds. Parker Von Richter. He'll skate through center, dumps this one into the near corner. Von Richter gets to it himself, but reaching for it was Fibiger. Colts get it again. Here's Mason Zabeski. Sends it back to the point to Von Richter. Von Richter over to Eamon Edgar. Back to Von Richter. Near side Wilmot. Wilmot has the puck bounce on him. Takes this to the corner. Spitfires right away putting on the pressure. Wilmot gets it again. Puts this one across to Edgar. Edgar back to Wilmot. Near side Von Richter. Wilmot takes the shot deflected. Puck's loose, and Newlove's able to hold on as the Colts had the traffic in front, but Newlove able to keep this one out.
Well, you can certainly see why Windsor's got the best penalty kill in the OHL right now. I mean, it looked pretty easy here. They've done a good job, been pretty calm, not panicking or being aggressive on Barrie, just keeping it simple, and it's worked so far for 1:52 here.
So just 8 seconds left in the power play for the Barrie Colts. Faceoff will be to the right of Michael Newlove. Jack Nesbitt's going to take the draw here for the Spitfires up against Ben Wilmot. Getting some instructions here before they drop the puck. And the Spitfires, they'll clear this one out quickly. Puck bouncing into the corner, so Hrebeck can't play it, but that'll do it for the power play. So now Barrie 0 for 1 on the man advantage so far tonight. Skating it up, that's Justin Hanser. Hanser takes it down low into the Windsor zone, peels back, drops it there for Ben Wilmot. Wilmot in tight, in a battle there with Belchez, goes back to Hanser. Hanser to Wilmot. Wilmot surrounded by red sweaters. Hanser keeps it in. nearly lost it, takes the shot, and that's going to go wide of the net. Wilmot trying to get a stick on it. Passmore can't keep it in, so delayed offside, and this will give Windsor some time here to regroup. 3:30 left to go in the first period. Still no score from the WFCU Centre. Back behind his own net. That's Carson Woodall. He's going to give that one up to Harvey. Harvey with speed through the neutral zone, sends it into the Colts end. Horebic puts that one in the corner. Harvey taken into the boards by Von Richter. Desiderio trying to get it ahead. That's taken away by the Spitfires. Edgar with a hit, and the Colts get it out. That's going to go back into the Windsor zone. Brown back to collect it. Newton on the forecheck. That's sent around. Windsor turn it over. Here's Jaden Newton at the point. Newton takes the shot. You love the save. Puck goes to the corner. Newton to Edgar. Edgar keeps it away from Brown. Passes it. One-timer deflected over the net. That was Desiderio who fired that one, and the Spitfires will get this one down the ice and ends up making contact with a player on the bench. So we'll get the whistle as these two teams go back and forth. Shots now 10-4 in favor of the Barrie Colts.
A good start for Barrie still, and but that penalty kill huge for Windsor. Obviously, Barrie's had more of the pressure tonight in this first period, but good job shorthanded by the Spitfires there. Keeps this game scoreless.
Yeah, the Windsor Spitfires really gave the Barrie Colts nothing to work with. As soon as they got the puck in the offensive end, they had two Spitfire players putting on the pressure. So you had no time to make those passes that we usually see with, especially setting up the one-timer for Aitchison here on the near side.
Yeah, but didn't see that really at all. No one-timers on that power play for Aitchison or Hemming. And power play unit's looking a bit different tonight. Obviously, Joe Solandra still out of the lineup, so Eamon Edgar comes up onto that second unit, and then Dylan Smoskowitz switching Wilmot and Gardner. Gardner out with the top guys tonight.
Yes, being very creative is the coaching staff with the lines. As we're now down to 2:42 remaining in this first period, the faceoff will come to the left of Michael Newlove. Taking the draw here will be McLaughlin for the Spitfires and Cole Bodwin for the Colts. So we get some instructions. Scramble draw. Spitfires send it back behind the net. Kennedy having issues on his feet. He's able to send this one around at the point. Captain Aitchison, his shot. You love the save. As Wyatt Kennedy was having some issues there. Now he's going to have some words with Mason Zabeski, but we'll get this face-off in the Windsor zones.
Zabeski playing Mason Zabeski type game there to get down the crease, annoying the goaltender. Monette having a word with him about that. Play on.
So right now they're doing a video tribute for head coach Greg Walters of the Windsor Spitfires, who coached his 400th career game last night. So a big milestone there for Walters, who also spent time as the head coach of the Oshawa Generals and Owen Sound Attack. Spitfires moving out. Here's McLaughlin on the wing. McLaughlin takes the shots, and Horebic square to the shooter. He's able to hold on, and he gets some more pushing and shoving. Once again, it's Liam Greentree who starts this altercation, and I think we're going to be seeing this all night.
Him and Aitchison going at it again, and it's like those two, maybe Greentree and Bodwin as well. All the way the game started for Greentree, and then of course Nathan Villeneuve out there.
Zabeski just gave a bit of a bump there to Greentree as he was skating by. Oh, it's the game within the game.
Does anyone have more fun out there than Mason Zabeski?
He has been a pleasure to watch since coming over from the Brampton Steelheads at the trade deadline. Face off to the right of Horebic. Won by the Spitfires. At the point, Fibiger will send this one around. McLaughlin behind the Barrie net. McLaughlin, backhand pass. Villeneuve, what a save by Horebic as he flashes the leather there on Nathan Villeneuve. And now we've got Villeneuve going nose to nose with Calvin Crombie.
Go.
Villeneuve's dropping the gloves. He wants to go with Crombie. The linesman separating those two right away. I'm not sure what Villeneuve said. But Villeneuve dropped the gloves first. And we talked about this in the pregame. How is the rivalry between Nathan Villeneuve and Aitchison? Well, it's actually Villeneuve against the Colts.
Yeah, well, Villeneuve almost slipped there, and I don't know if maybe Crombie made a joke about it, and that got things going. But yeah, Villeneuve trying to drop the gloves, but he got separated away quickly. Crombie wanted to come after him. That didn't work out. And we talked a lot about Villeneuve and his physical side of the game, 71 penalty minutes, but that's the same breath, 21 goals, 42 assists for 63 points. But I remember in a game earlier this year against Sudbury, he got into a fight with Brad Gardner, and you kind of talk about the trade-off where, if you're, it's great that you're a physical guy, but, you also score a lot of goals. So if you're taking yourself off the ice for 5 minutes, it better be for a good reason. And for Barrie, they're obviously, it's not Baudouin or Aitchison or Hemming. Probably okay with Calvin Crombie sitting 2 minutes if Nathan Villeneuve sitting 2 minutes as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be another 4-on-4 situation. This is the second 4-on-4 we've had in this hockey game. And the last time it was the Barrie Colts who kind of benefited from the open ice. We saw the pretty passing plays, and they really, racked up some shots there early in this first period. So we'll see what's in store this time around. Face off to the right of Horebic. Nesbitt's going to take the draw here for Windsor. And that's going to be picked up by Wilmot. Wilmot takes around his own net, being chased there by Greentree. Wilmot ahead for Passmore. Passmore's going to dump it in. Nula stomps it behind the net. He'll shoot this one around the boards. Liam Greentree is there. Avoids the hit from Aitchison. Aitchison has it in his skates, trying to keep it in the zone. Diviger takes a whack at it. Aitchison loses it to Nesbitt. Nesbitt will come back behind his own net. Jack Nesbitt. Long pass. Picked off there by Cole Emerton at the blue line. Emerton to Aitchison. Aitchison will go back to Emerton as the Colts set things up. Emerton will skate it in for Barrie. Takes the shot, and that's deflected out of play as the Spitfires defenseman Cristoforo is in the lane.
It's funny how it works out. It feels like Aitchison and Greentree are finding each other pretty easy on the ice right now. Aitchison trying to enter the zone, and Greentree right there as they battle, and then Aitchison was bringing it up the wall as they sent it out. Greentree with the hit, chirping at each other the entire way to the bench.
Well, if these two teams do, in fact, meet in an OHL final, there's going to be a lot of drama. Face-off won by the Spitfires. They're going to send it around. Here's Ethan Belchis. Belchis will skate this one up. Belchis reaches center, still with it. Gets by Hanser. He'll send it around the boards. Woodall's on the far side waiting for it. Carson Woodall loses the handle, sends it back into the neutral zone. He has to chase back after it. 54 seconds left in the 4-on-4 as Woodall has it behind his own net, passes ahead. That one goes off the linesman. Spitfires get it at center ice. We're in the final minute of the first period. Robinson sends this one up to Belchis. Belchis making a move, loses it. Hanser comes up with it now, and the Colts skate it up. Here's Cole Baudouin. He's going to charge through center. Baudouin has that one knocked away. Goes into the boards. Robinson through the hit. Spitfires with it. Woodall again. He'll pass this one across. Spellacy with speed. We'll skate this one in on the wing. Gets by Hemming. Across. Toe save. Horebic. As Belchis was going to the rebound. Colts moving up. Ben Wilmot skates this one in for Barrie. Wilmot gets by Brown. His shot just over the net. At the point, Garden. He'll get this one ahead for Rand. Gets it across. Woodall skates this one in for Windsor. Decides to turn it back. 8 seconds left in the period. Here's Garden on the wing. Garden along the boards. Gets it again. His shot blocked by Emerton. And that will do it for the first period of play between the Barrie Colts and the Windsor Spitfires. As now we've got Villeneuve going after Aitchison at center ice. Not surprised we're seeing those two have some words. As the referees right now trying to get the Spitfires to keep their distance from the Barrie Colts, who are heading off to their bench. Actually, we've still got Ferran out there. Actually, he's picking up his stick that he left behind.
He's taking his time, though, getting back to his side.
He is taking his time. Well, cooler heads will prevail here. Actually, the referee having some words now with Alex Ferran.
If Ferran wasn't happy, he thought Aitchison knocked the stick out from him there right at the end. And still got him out there. He's still got Liam Greentree as well. Nesbitt waiting. Dylan Smoskowitz now having a word with the officials about some stuff. And
Oh my goodness.
East versus West.
Like we said, yeah, maybe they're in opposite conferences, but this does have that playoff feel between these two teams. It's been an entertaining game so far. 12-8 are the shots, but there was that gap for about maybe 10 minutes where the Windsor Spitfires, they're only sitting on 2 shots. And that was the 2 shots that opened the hockey game.
Yeah, Windsor got off to a solid start with the Belchez Villeneuve Ferran line, but after that, they really didn't have anything going. They had a strong pushback late in this first period here, but for the middle part of the game, it was all Barrie for a while there. And of course, you mentioned the playoff atmosphere, and it comes down to that Villeneuve and Ferran trade, obviously. Big rivals, Barrie and Sudbury, and reunited here in this game against Windsor as the refs, the Barrie Colt ref fans are back, and they're getting into it with Spike. And
oh my goodness.
Now, I did see before the official went off, he did have a word with the timekeeper, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, on whether anything came of the end of the period there.
Yeah, so it's been an entertaining first period here at the WFCU Centre between the Colts and the Spitfires. Still looking for our first goal, kind of similar to what we saw last night in Sarnia. It wasn't until late in the second period where Cole Baudouin finally deflected a shot that would go in. But this is Barrie Colt hockey. We've seen it all season long where they're okay with playing these low-scoring games and low shots, although 12 shots in the first period, still pretty good for the Barrie Colts. But this really has a feel of Barrie Colt hockey.
Yeah, this is what Dylan Smoskowitz always talks about. I mean, limiting their chances, 7 shots on goal for Windsor and no goals. He'll always take that, especially on the road. And for Barrie, like you said, similar to last night, Cole Baudouin gets that goal late in the second period. But before that, we had about 20 more things in the box score with the amount of penalties and misconducts going on in that game. Very physical game last night against Sarnia.
So the Barrie Colts and the Spitfires right now, no score to report. But before the game, you had a chance to catch up with Jonah McCormick, a player that is really into fitness, much like Cole Baudouin. Actually, their stature very similar. And for Jonah McCormick, he has been, you can see him just gaining some more confidence as he plays along. And right now coming in 4 goals, 1 assist in 39 games. You know that that time will come where he's going to start finding the back of the net more.
Yeah, obviously we talk about next man up when some of these Barrie Colts graduate this season. Next man up next year could be a guy like Jonah McCormick. And we got to talking as well about his start to his OHL career because it's one of the more interesting ones. I mean, he wasn't on the team at all last season. They bring him in for game 68 just to fill a roster spot. He made such a good impression. He's in the lineup in the playoffs.
Yep.
Like, he wasn't on the team all year and riding the bench and being a healthy scratch. Like, he literally wasn't with the team on the roster. And then he comes in that final game, and I'll always remember it. It was like his first shift in the OHL. He sees Ryan Robert, lines him up, big hit. He wasn't scared of taking on any player, and it earned him a spot on the playoff roster, and it's earned him a spot playing nearly full time this year with the Barrie Colts.
So here's Josh's conversation pregame with Barrie Colts forward Jonah McCormick.
Joined by Colts forward Jonah McCormick. Jonah, second day of the trip. How are you guys feeling right now? Obviously coming off a big win last night in overtime.
Yeah, coming off a big win yesterday. Got home late, or got back to the hotel late, but that doesn't affect the boys. We wake up, go for a team walk. All the guys are bringing energy to the game, and the boys are ready to go here tonight.
How do you feel about being on the road on longer trips like this?
It's definitely hard sometimes to get the legs going and staying in it, but with the team we have, it's really easy to stay in the game. Like, guys are always having your backs, and everyone's kind of hype man out there on the ice.
Obviously, pretty interesting experience yesterday in the second period. Big line brawl there for a moment. A lot of you guys in the penalty box there. What was that like?
Yeah, like, obviously, Gabo lays a big hit. There's a bunch of guys going in. Eddie goes in, kind of just going in there to protect our teammates, and then all of us end up in the box. Yeah, it was pretty funny. We were just going at the other guys, but yeah, it was good. It was a good team taking care of each other there.
Would you say that's kind of the game you try and play, lay a couple big hits, get some momentum going for the team?
Yeah, I think I kind of know my role on that fourth line, and sometimes when our team needs energy, I need to go out there and lay a few hits. I know that's my job, so I go out there and do that.
Now, talk to me about your entry into the OHL, because it was a bit different than usual. You came in last year, final game of the season, obviously impressed the coaching staffs, and then all of a sudden, game 2 of your career, you're already in a playoff matchup.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience. I mean, in the end there, just getting the last game, it was kind of like just a give me, because we had some guys just preparing them for playoffs, needed the rest, so that I got the opportunity to get in there, and I went in there, laid a bunch of hits. Obviously, that's the kind of playoff hockey we needed. We needed some guys to lay more hits. So, yeah, then I got some opportunity to play in Kingston and Niagara in those series, and it's definitely taught me a lot, and I'm ready to see how far we go this year with playoffs.
You guys clinched the division last night. Obviously, some bigger goals down the stretch of this year, but how nice was it to get that out of the way?
Yeah, it was nice, obviously, but as Smazi says, we don't care. We just work harder. We don't let those things get to our head and take it day to day.
Welcome back to the WFCU Centre in Windsor, where there's no score to report between the Barrie Colts and the Windsor Spitfires after the first period of play, and it is the first intermission, and like we always do, we like to open it up to the chat, so if you have any questions or anything you want to chat about, we can bring that up here on the broadcast. We appreciate everyone who's been tuning in so far. It's been a fun road trip through Sarnia and Windsor, and that's we could come back here, I guess, in the playoffs if these two teams end up meeting in the postseason.
I think we figured out our hangout spot as well. Shout out to Armando's?
Armando's, yes.
Armando's Pizza. If you're ever in Windsor, we can't try the concession stand food today, but we did try Armando's Pizza. It is really good. No, Windsor, they're known for their pizza. Unfortunately, we didn't get the memo until afterwards that they're known for their canned mushrooms on the
Yeah,
on
so
the
it's
pizza. So the waitress asked us about the pizza, and she's like, "Okay, do you want fresh mushrooms or canned mushrooms?" And we kind of just looked at each other. We've had some bad experiences with canned stuff over the last couple months, and we figured fresh makes sense. And then
Yeah.
Gene's telling us, they're known for their canned mushrooms, and I say, oh, but really good pizza. We got a couple slices for the ride home as well. So yeah, shout out to Armando. Shout out for the letting us stay for like 5 hours to.
Yeah, we needed to hang out somewhere.
We
before
wanted
the
to go
game.
for a walk on the waterfront, but Gene was not having that.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful waterfront here, just on the Detroit River, and you could see the city of Detroit and whatnot. But still, the pizza here fantastic. So if you're in the Windsor area, you got to try the Windsor style pizza where they actually shave the pepperoni. So
Yeah.
it's the shaved pepperoni and the canned mushrooms.
I
is
liked it.
apparently
I
the way
liked
it's
it.
supposed
It
to go.
was pretty good. We got the extra cheese as well, which
Yeah.
always makes a pizza better. And
Yeah.
it was a good day.
So there you go. We're not able to go down to the concession here because we're in the rafters here at the WFCU Centre, but there's our shout out for Armando's.
Don't
But
worry, and Richard as well. Your money went towards our lunch today.
well, we're going to carry it over to Brampton.
That too.
Yeah, because we're going to be in Brampton on Wednesday for the school day game. That broadcast is actually getting underway at 10:45 a.m. So just a broadcast note, the school day game in Brampton between the Steelheads and the Colts gets underway at 11 a.m. and we'll have that live stream underway at 10:45.
Just start coughing on Tuesday, and then let your boss know in the morning that it's just you're too sick to come in.
Yeah, but you can have your phone hooked up to your Bluetooth speaker.
That's true.
And,
Yeah.
or your headphones.
Or you can work and watch us.
Exactly.
You can work at your place of work that may want to sponsor the broadcast as well.
There you go. More sponsors, the better to keep this, broadcast going strong. But now that we're off topic, we need to get caught up on the out-of-town scoreboard.
We basically covered all of intermission, just acting like clowns. All right. So the Brampton Steelheads, we know they lost 8-2 last night. It was another rough one today. They had 5 shots through 2 periods, and they lost the game 5-0 to the London Knights earlier today in the dog day at the arena, which is, I think
That's
it's pretty
different.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Owen Sound and Erie in action. It's Owen Sound up 3-2 after the first period. Of course, every point so pivotal for Owen Sound right now. Big note for any Windsor fans watching the live stream, if there are any. Flint up 1-0 on Ottawa. So that's also a big note for Barrie as well. Barrie, Windsor, Flint, Ottawa, the 2 big matchups of the evening. You got Peterborough, you got Saginaw tied at 1 after the first period. And that's all we got on a Saturday night. Only 4 other games and only 3 others on as of right now.
Yeah, so not too bad. So a big note there. The Flint Firebirds, 1 point back of the Windsor Spitfires in the West Division lead. And looking at the chats, I'm seeing that Tammy saying you're way up high then, and I wish we could see how high you are. So let me try this with the webcam. Here,
we're allowed to show this part.
It's the intermission. So
show Gene.
Yeah, there's Gene.
Gene, say hi. Gene.
Yeah, he's distracted.
Say hi. Say hi.
There, see, there's Gene. So now, because we're in the rafters, there is the ice surface. So you can see right now it's the Star Wars game. So they're doing some different things for the Star Wars night. So we are pretty high up. So there's the catwalk. And it's pretty high up. See, there's the banners. We're right beside some of the championship banners. So it's a unique vantage point here from the WFCU Centre. So there's a bit of a sneak peek of our broadcast location here in Windsor.
And just for a note, it is a pretty good crowd, but Mike was also shaking the webcam. It's not actually rocking in Windsor tonight. So the webcam was just shaking.
Yeah. That was just a rough idea. So it's definitely a unique broadcast location when it comes to the Ontario Hockey League. And then also Richard saying, I work from home, so I can listen. So we know we've got Richard tuning in on Wednesday.
We've got one person for Wednesday. And of course, you actually have a pretty good following in Brampton now. So we'll probably get some Steelhead fans too. And it should be exciting. It should be a good game. Brampton, of course, it's been a while since they beat Barrie. It's the 6th matchup of the year. Brampton won the first one. They've lost the last 4. So obviously they're going to be hungry for a win, especially coming off a really tough weekend for the Brampton Steelheads.
Yeah, and especially with what happened last night at the Odd in Kitchener. They had that 1-0 lead after the first period, and then Kitchener putting on 6 goals in the second period, ended up putting 8 unanswered, and
You think
it turned
Barrie
it into a
Sarnia
fight
was
fest.
rough? Oh, man. 3 suspensions, about 6 fights in the third period alone. Kitchener had their players pose at center ice with all the players remaining at the end of the game. They had 10 skaters, 9 forwards, 1 defense, and a goalie.
Yeah,
That's insane.
So yeah, it's so obviously you see the result. What happened between Brampton and London this afternoon? The Steelheads missing some key players from their lineup after the suspensions last night in the game against Kitchener, and then there's the big game tomorrow afternoon between Kitchener and London. That's at the Odds. So the Rangers will be missing a couple of players from that lineup. But this is that time of year where we're seeing more of the physical play. And we were both surprised yesterday between Sarnia and Barrie, 2 teams that have really no history over the course of the franchises in the OHL. And yet these 2 teams feisty. But that goes to show how important these points are right now in this final stretch towards the playoffs.
Yeah, it's kind of similar when you look at it with Kitchener Brampton because it's opposite conferences. One team up at the top, one team up at the bottom, and no history between them outside of the Gabe Sherratt trade for Brampton and Kitchener. And Sherratt did actually get suspended because of the fight he was in with Peter Green. But yeah, it's that time of year. Brampton and Sarnia playing desperate hockey, and when you're playing physical teams, Kitchener's got some big boys. They're really physical, and then you're taking hit after hit from Kitchener, and they score 6 goals on you in a period. You're going to be pretty frustrated, and you start to take that emotion out. Similar to yesterday, where Barrie, 2 big hits from Jonah McCormick and Nicholas Desiderio. Took out Hurt, took out Howry. Neither of them returned to the lineup. At the end of the day, those were clean hits, but you're still going to stand up for your teammate that just got hurt, obviously. So frustration was building for Sarnia. Then after that, another big hit for Gabriel Eliasson. And by then, it was go time for both teams. And I talked to McCormick about that. And it was pretty interesting watching the 4 of them down the tunnel, watching the game as the Colts scored.
Yeah, so it's that time of year where just the intensity builds up. And we've also seen that already in the first period here between Windsor and Barrie, although you have that underlying, rivalry between Nathan Villeneuve and the Barrie Colts. It's primarily Villeneuve and Aitchison, but every time we've seen Barrie and Sudbury play, Villeneuve is always a presence physically, but he's also that guy that can, get under your skin, and then you start taking penalties that you probably shouldn't be taking.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, guys like him, you can't let them take advantage of you. If you play a disciplined game and you let Nathan Villeneuve take the penalties, Nathan Villeneuve's going to take himself out of the game, starts taking penalties himself, and he starts going to the box. And like I talked about in the first period, that trade-off, at the end of the day, Calvin Crombie's really important to the Barrie Colts, but taking Nathan Villeneuve's offense out of the lineup for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, that's really good for the Barrie Colts. You think back to November, Gardner and Villeneuve fight. Barrie's up by 1 in the third period with 10 minutes left. Gardner's important, yes, but Villeneuve's offense to Sudbury was so important at that time. You took him off for 5 minutes. That was huge for the Colts as they headed towards the victory.
So the 2 teams are now back on the ice. So we're going to get ready for the second period of play as the Barrie Colts and the Windsor Spitfires get back into action. But it has been an entertaining game so far, as these 2 teams right now at the top of their respective divisions, both teams technically second in their conferences. The Barrie Colts right now 3 points back of the Brantford Bulldogs. So this game is where the Colts could move within a point of Brantford for first in the Eastern Conference. And as for Windsor, trying to hold off the Flint Firebirds, who are just 1 point back. And as we saw on the out-of-town scoreboard, the Firebirds right now up 1-0 on the Ottawa 67s at the Dork Financial Center. But the second period now underway. It is 5-on-5 hockey as the puck goes into the Windsor zone. Emil Hemming will give chase. Puck goes behind the net. Hemming trying to get a stick on it. There's Zabeski throwing his weight around. He loses it. Coming up with it is Spellacy. Spellacy will pass this one ahead to Nesbitt. Nesbitt across to Liam Greentree. Greentree fires, and that goes over the net. Puck comes back to the blue line. Kennedy trying to keep it in. That's knocked down to the corner. Picked up now by Greentree. Sends this one back to Nesbitt. Nesbitt fires. Stopped by Herbeck. Rebound. And Greentree couldn't get there in time. Greentree back to Kennedy. Wyatt Kennedy from the point skates this one down low. Kennedy fires. That's deflected over the net. Hemming after it in the far corner. Has that one in his skates. Spellacy picked his pocket. Loose puck. Hemming avoids the hit from Nesbitt. Nesbitt has it between his skates. Aitchison trying to poke it. Nesbitt just standing there. Now it's picked up here by the Barrie Colts. Beaudoin's going to skate it out. Aitchison right now is on top of Nesbitt. The fans want a penalty as the puck goes deep into the Windsor zone. Spitfires turn it over. Wilmot sends this one ahead to Gardner, but he's knocked off stride there by Walton. Trying to go to Wilmot, but the Spitfires pick it up again. Alex Ferrand passing this one over to Belchis. Belchis trying to go back to Ferrand. Still with it. Down to the far corner. Ferrand had it knocked away there by Hanser. Gardner gets this one out. Villeneuve picks off that pass. He's going to dump it in, but that ends up going way over the glass and out of play. And now we've got Gene Pereira now with us in the box.
Welcome aboard, Pereira.
There you go.
Pretty entertaining first period. I think it's a good first period for Barrie Colts. And what I like is they came out, they were physical early, and we saw that in the forecheck for finishing checks. And, for the most part, they shot Windsor and had the majority of play in the Windsor end. And I think that's the way you want to start this second period, continue that physical play.
Yeah, these two teams matched very well as it's been just back and forth. Shots now 11-8 in favor of the Barrie Colts as Hanser has it back in his own zone. Backhand pass to Von Richter. Justin Hanser will move this one ahead, passes it over to Wilmot. Van Wilmot skates this one into the attacking zone, drops it back to Crombie. Crombie fires, kicked aside by Newlove. Wilmot picks it up, sends it down low. Crombie in front. Gardner couldn't get there in time, and the Spitfires will move it up. Ferrand sends this one down low. Around the boards it goes. Villeneuve back to Ferrand in front. Crombie had Belchis tied up. Gardner is going to get it out to center. Cristoforo from his own blue line. He'll pass this one up to Jakob Fibiger. Fibiger passing this one up the middle. Belchis loses it. Ferrand follows it up. Back to Belchis. Belchis to the net. Stopped by Horebic. Puck goes behind the net. Hanser over to Von Richter. Parker Von Richter passes it up to Calvin Crombie. Crombie through center. Up to Gardner. That's out of his reach. Spitfires can't get it out. Wilmot. No, that's going to leave the zone as he was stick handling around a Windsor player. And that's going to be offside.
And Wilmot, pretty good first period. I mean, you just watch him and more you come away impressed. I mean, it's play all over the ice and even taking some big face-offs and just a smart player, always reads and very patient with the puck. And, you look at these two teams and there's a lot of similarities in the sense that, talking to Marty Williamson said, look, this is going to be a good test for us. They're a bit more physical than a lot of the teams. So it's good to go up against another team in that sense.
And it's been an entertaining game so far as that puck goes on net. Horebic leaving it there. Emerton was tied up. Here's Garden. Garden will pass this one back. Robinson doesn't take the shot, skates it back to the point. Robinson still with it. Takes the shot now, stopped by Horebic. Loose puck picked up by Emerton, and the Colts get it out to center. Woodall trying to put it back into the Barrie zone, puts it across. That pass blocked by Schneid. Garden from the corner sends this one around. McKeish couldn't get a stick on it. Robinson up to McKeish. He takes a hit from Newton. Puck's behind the net. Here's Harvey. Caden Harvey will come around, drops it back. Spitfires at the blue line. There's Woodall. His shot blocked in front. Getting in the way of that was Eliasson. Picked up here by Jaden Newton. Newton's going to flip this one out and down the ice. Spitfires at center. Nice move there by Woodall. Woodall passes it up. Grabowski passes it over. Horebic makes the pad save. McLaughlin behind the net, trying to quickly put it out in front. He had Newton in the way. Emerton up to Hemming. Colts move this one ahead. Email Hemming. Skates this one out to center, weaving his way, but had that one knocked off his tape. Spitfires trying to move it up quickly. Here's Nathan Villeneuve. Villeneuve hits the brakes. His pass deflected by Eliasson. McLaughlin comes out of the corner, passes it back to the blue line. There's the shot from the point. Blocked in front. Went off Villeneuve. In front, Emerton kicks that one aside. Here comes Mason Zabeski. Zabeski to Cole Beaudoin. Over to Hemming. That pass ends up behind him. Beaudoin takes the hit. Pucks along the boards. Villeneuve gets it at the Colts blue line. Takes the shot. Blocked by Passmore. Evan Passmore flips it up to Beaudoin. Beaudoin skates through the neutral zone. Looks over his shoulder. Decides to skate it down low. Hits the brakes. He's taken into the boards. Walton tying up Beaudoin. Villeneuve behind his own net. Colts put on pressure. It's at the side of the goal. Beaudoin gets to it first. Backhand pass to Aitchison. Aitchison takes the shot. Deflected wide of the net. Zabeski in front. It bounces off the end boards. Here's Emil Hemming. Back to the point. Aitchison. Aitchison rides the line. Takes the shot. Deflected. Blocked in front. Rebound. And breaking his stick there was Beaudoin. And the Spitfires will get it out. Aitchison throws the big hit there on Dubowski. Puck goes deep in the Barrie zone. Passmore, long pass. Wilmot couldn't get a stick on it. It's in the neutral zone, picked up by Gardner. Gardner bumped by Nesbitt, but he's able to dump it in. Around the boards it goes. Kept in by Hanser. Justin Hanser leaving it there for Gardner. Across. Finds Von Richter. His shot blocked in front. Crombie trying to send it into the slot. Red sweaters were there, and the Spitfires recover. Here's Jakob Fibiger. Fibiger's going to skate this one out for Windsor. Reaches center ice. Fibiger still with it. Takes the shot. Blocked by Von Richter. Fibiger trying to put that one in front. Spellacy tracks it down, but the Colts get it out. Ben Wilmot tied up there by Fibiger. Breaks away. Gets it in. Fibiger or Wilmot to the nets. Reaching for it was Crombie. Delayed penalty call coming against the Spitfires. As Spellacy will touch it up. It's going to be a hook. So the Barrie Colts are going to go on their second power play of the hockey game.
A good job there by Crombie. Drives the net, make things happen. You draw the call, but again, what a play by young John McLaughlin. And I love this. We talk about young guys who are already making an impact in that play back there. Bowden had that puck all lined up and ends up tying up a stick. And what a great scoring chance for the Barrie Colts. And get a young player like that. He's committed again to play at both ends. And those guys always shine, and already early in his career. Just a great find for the Windsor Spitfires.
And it's not surprising why Windsor wouldn't trade him away at the deadline.
Yeah. I mean, it just, it tells you, like, certain guys, that's why I say, like the same with a young guy like Cole Emerton for Barrie. You can see it. They're going to be a big part of the future.
So this Barrie Colts Power Play brought to you by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. Spitfires skated ahead. Here's Spellacy, shorthanded. His shot off the crossbar. He strikes iron. The Colts take it back the other way. Here's Cole Bodwin. Bodwin into the attacking zone. Looks over his shoulder. Passing this one back. Then it's blocked by Kennedy. Bodwin along the board. Sends it back to the blue line. Here's Cole Emerton. Emerton ahead to Hemmick. That gets by him. Bodwin loses it, and the Spitfires will send that one into the Barrie Colts bench. But I wonder if they're going to take a look at A.J. Spellacy's shot. From our vantage point, it looked like it was crossbarring out, but that was a close one there, shorthanded.
Well, I think you saw Nesbitt go over to the Windsor bench, and now he's over to the officials saying, hey, we got to take a look at that. What a shot by Spellacy.
Well, the Windsor Spitfires, without Cole Davis, one of the top players in the OHL when it comes to shorthanded goals. But A.J. Spellacy, what a shot that was. And right now the officials, they're on the headset, so we'll have to wait and see how this is going. But what a shot that was.
Well, you heard the fans react. I mean, I think they were acting like it was a goal, but.
Well, we haven't seen a replay yet on the scoreboard, but from this vantage point, it came out of the net pretty quick. I thought it was the crossbar, but
It was a pretty good plunk noise. You could hear it.
It was, yeah. So then was it the back bar that puck go off of? But the referee here, he was on the red line and he waved it off immediately. I know you've got all the officials in the stands here that.
You know what they were calling.
Exactly. So they're going to take a look at this. We'll have to wait and see. At some rinks, we have the ability to see replays with Connor, the video coach, but he's parked far in the corner, so we don't have the replay
They got
capabilities.
us away from him.
So they're taking a very long look at this as Joe Monette has the headset on. I don't think he's got the tablet, though.
It's interesting seeing these Western Conference teams and the differences. We had Flint, which is a bit of a track meet. They love to run and gun. And, this Windsor team, again, getting a game like this, and it's all about limiting mistakes and so on. And that's, they call it a goal.
So it's a short-handed goal for the Windsor Spitfires, as that one was a quick in and out. So A.J. Spellacy has opened the scoring here for Windsor.
That must have plunked right off that back bar under the crossbar, but what a shot.
Next week, we could hear the noise from our broadcast booth because the net's just below us. So it's a 1-0 hockey game, so they got to reset the clock. So for AJ Spellacy, that's now 13 goals on the season.
He was calling it right away. AJ came around. He was pointing at the official.
So the power play continues here for the Colts. A minute 44 still to work with as Cole Emerton will go across to Gardner. Gardner goes across. Hemming. That's center trying to give it to Aitchison. He's going to dump it in. New Love behind the net. He's just going to try and clear it. Goes off Bodwin. Bodwin in the corner. Sends this one back to Aitchison. Takes the shot. That's going to go wide. Gardner back behind the Windsor net. Over to Bodwin. At the blue line, it's Aitchison. Aitchison across. Deflected. Bodwin gets it again here for the Barrie Colts. They're making that Brad Gardner. Hemming after it. Behind the net. Bodwin. Backhand pass. That's blocked. Gardner trying to send that one ahead. Bodwin to the net. Here's Hemming. Waits. Fires off the post. Emil Hemming had New Love beat. Now Spellacy skates it up shorthanded again. Spellacy puts that one over the net. Hemming picks up the loose puck. Power play down to 53 seconds. Emil Hemming skates this one in for the Colts. Trying to go to Bodwin. That's poked away. Puck sent out down the ice. Crombie chasing after it. Villeneuve beats him to it. Loses it. Sends it across. At the point is Edgar. He's just going to send this one deep. Eamon Edgar up ahead to Crombie as the Colts trying to regroup deep in their own zone. 30 seconds left in the penalty to Liam Greentree. Here's Calvin Crombie through the neutral zone. Crombie skates this one in. He's bumped off the puck by Fithiger. Puck sent around to the point. It's Wilmot. Over to Von Richter. Back to Wilmot. Wilmot. Von Richter. Waits. Goes back to Wilmot. Now fires. And a glove save by New Love. As he'll hold on to it with 10 seconds left in the man advantage.
Hemming comes right back off and wires one off the bar. Look at the scoreboard. They still got a no score, Mike. I guess
Well,
there he goes.
You
There.
speak of it, and it goes
There he goes. Finally, I was wondering if it might be the guy who's running the scoreboard. It's the only one that doesn't know that counted.
Well, they got it up there, and it's now 10 seconds left in the power play here for the Barrie Colts. Faceoff will come to the right of Michael Newlove. Wilmot's going to take the draw here against Spellacy. Spellacy was trying to force that one ahead. Puck rolls towards the net. Crombie has it in his skates. Garden will tie him up. Picking it up is Brown. At the point, kept in by Von Richter. Takes the shot. That's blocked. Colts still with it, but the power play has expired. So Barrie Colts now 0 for 2 on the man advantage. They keep it down low. It's Mason Zabeski behind the net. In front, they jam at it. Newlove able to pounce on that puck. And then Zabeski, he knocked down a Windsor player who was tying up Crombie. And of course, this is going to generate a crowd. Even Newlove showing his frustrations.
Seeing this one, it kind of builds up the intensity here. What a move by Wilmot. And that play ends up coming out in front. Nice job by the Windsor netminer to get a hold of that one with all sorts of traffic in front of him.
Well, it's been an entertaining game between these two teams as they continue to have words. But for the Barrie Colts, you're riding that 11-game winning streak, and they always talk about win the day. But when you're coming up against the Spitfires team, they've got one of the best specialty team units in the OHL, and on full display there, it's a new element that the Barrie Colts haven't really seen much of is a team that plays almost the exact style that they do.
Right, they do. And, it's Windsor on the penalty kill, very aggressive too, right? Whoever's got the puck, they're on top of them. And they kind of force you to make quick decisions. But it just seems like the intensity level has been ramped up a bit here in this second period.
Well, Josh and I were talking about it in the first period, how despite these teams being in opposite conferences, it has that playoff feel to it. And it's, the fans are right into it. And we've even seen it on our chat, how the fans are really embracing this game.
Again, you look at the standings, these top teams, they all want to see how you match up. And it's only going to be about limiting the chances of big time shots that puts Windsor on top.
So 12-10 left to go in the second period. The Spitfires win the draw and quickly send it down the ice. There's Gabriel Eliasson passing this one forward. Newton couldn't hold on to it. Carrying is Villeneuve. Villeneuve fires. That goes off a leg, and Hrebeck able to cover it up. He had Ethan Belchitz there in front. As Ethan Villeneuve feels like he's kind of stepped up his game here tonight.
You know, he is well familiar with those Colts jerseys as a Sudbury Wolf, and that intensity is carried right over. You don't forget, right? I mean,
Yep.
when you see that, you know, both these teams, they love to crash the net over the goal, and you see a lot of pushing and shoving after.
Well, Villanove's line stays out there. He's going to take the draw against Jaden Newton. Face off to the left of Ben Horebic. 11:57 left in the second period. Newton's going to be tossed out of the draw. So in steps William Schneid. So Schneid versus Villanove. Face off, picked up here by Desiderio, gets the line and out. Woodall dumps this one, or tried to, but looked like it may have gone off Alex Ferrand and onto the Spitfires bench. So we'll try this face off again. They're actually going to bring this back outside of the Windsor blue line.
Look, I mean, we know that Windsor's one of the big dogs in the Western Conference, and we got a Barrie team coming in, 11-game win streak. I mean, that's a bit of a target, right? I mean, these teams just dying to kind of end that. Fun hockey to watch, that's for certain.
And you wouldn't guess that this Windsor team's playing their third game in 3 nights. As that's going to be sent down the ice. Deflected, no icing. Hrebic, he's going to send it around. There's Harvey. Knock that one down. It's in his skates. Desiderio's trying to knock it free. Harvey still with it. Dustin Hanser spinning around. He'll go and collect it behind his own net. Hanser drops it back. Desiderio in the near corner. He'll send this one forward, knocking it down to Schneid. Schneid, that's out of his reach. Newton's there, but Schneid was ahead of the play, so that's going to be an offside call now with 11:18 remaining.
So I'm going to change up a bit up front with Cardinal and Overall. They'll be back eligible to return on Wednesday in Brampton. It's opportunities for other guys and good movement. Wilmot, we saw him on that top line last night in Sarnia. He goes back down to the second one.
Well, Carter Lowe is in the building. We're trying to convince him to come on the broadcast in the second intermission, but I think he didn't want to come on here and do an extra interview, so he's going to stay in his spot. But there's the turnover. Zabeski's going to take it up the ice. Jason Zabeski's got Hemming going to the net, but the puck rolled on Zabeski. Zabeski trying to play it in the corner. Bodwin backhand pass over to Aitchison. Aitchison will skate it back to the point. He'll put that one off the boards. Bodwin behind the net. Cole Bodwin will skate this one around. Cristoforo was reaching for it. Bodwin still with it here for the Colts. Along the boards, back to the point. That's going to escape the zone. Cole Bodwin in a foot race with Cristoforo. Bodwin, though, able to protect it. Buck's in the corner. Nesbitt trying to dig this one free. Zabeski, backhand pass, finds Hemming on the far side. Emil Hemming will skate this one in for the Colts. That one's knocked off his tape by Fibiger. Ferrand gets to it, off of Belchis, and that's out to center ice. Carrying it ahead, here's Nathan Villeneuve. Villeneuve hits the brakes, sends it across. Ferrand down low, Fibiger around the net. Doesn't take the shot, still with it, takes the shot now. Hrebic, the save, puck's loose. Not able to find it was Belchis. Villeneuve at the point, his shot blocked by Wilmot. That's going to escape the zone. As we're now past the midway point of this hockey game, Windsor up 1-0. AJ Spalacy with a shorthanded marker. Cole Emerton sends this one ahead. Wilmot get a stick on it. That's going to roll into the Windsor zone. Viviger up to Ferrand. He's going to tip this one deep. Emerton chasing after it for Barrie. Picked up by Crombie. Crombie at center. His pass blocked by Garden. Skating it in is Belchis. Goes over to Garden. Has it in the corner. His pass blocked by Emerton. That's going to come to the near side. Fibiger back to the point. McKeish, his shot wide of the net. Far side, that's Woodall. He'll fire it. That's deflected wide. On the near side. Harvey, he's run into there by Eliason. Spitfires want a penalty. None coming as Garden goes to the net. And Hrebic makes the save, but Gabriel Eliason may have gotten away with one on that hit.
Out someone along the boards, and that puck came out to Hrebic, and he squeezed the pads there. Much better second period by the Windsor Spitfires. And I really thought Barrie, for the most part, controlled that, the play they had it in the Windsor's end in that opening 20 minutes, but we've seen a much better response from Windsor in the second period.
So we're down to 9:12 remaining. Barrie Colts making a late change here. And it looks like we're going to get a timeout here. I think Dylan Smoskowitz is calling a timeout here to calm things down and get the right players out there.
That's a rare occasion that you see Dylan Smoskowitz calling a timeout this early in a hockey game, but going over, he's got everybody gathered around, and I think it's a good decision here. You know, you had a really good opening 20 minutes and effective, and you want to get back to playing that physical hockey, and a much better response here by Windsor. It's now, you know, they got the lead in shots, 15-14, so that's telling yourself a bit of the story that has been in the second period.
Yeah, it's been a very entertaining game as these two teams go back and forth. And we'll get this face-off to the right of Ben Horebic after Dylan Smoskowitz took that timeout here midway through the second period. As the momentum has been shifting in the Windsor Spitfires' favor here, despite the Colts having 2 power plays. The penalty kill has just been solid here for Windsor, and they've been feeding off of that momentum. Face-off picked up here. Colts send it to the far corner. Nikish behind the net for Garden. Garden comes around here for Windsor from the half-boards, hits the brakes. Garden takes his time, sends it back to the blue line to Woodall. Carson Woodall comes off the point. Zabeski trying to tie him up. Woodall still with it. He's tripped up. That's going to be a penalty. So the Spitfires on the delayed call. McKeish fires, blocked by Zabeski. That one hit him inside the leg. Greentree with it again for Windsor. Sends this one back to the point. Robinson over to Garden. Shot blocked by Beaudoin. Goes behind the net. Windsor continues to move it around the perimeter. Robinson up the middle. Stopped by Horebic. Puck's loose, and it's now covered up. And now we'll get the call, but Justin Hanser threw a hit there up high on Garden. There's already one penalty coming. We'll have to wait and see if there's going to be more to this. As things may have gone from bad to worse here for Barrie.
This might be 2 penalties for Barrie. Hanser's kind of protesting it. Nice job by Horebic there to get that puck underneath the pad. It's all sorts of chaos happening in front of him.
So as you mentioned, yes, both Zabeski and Hanser are in the penalty box. So a 5-on-3 for a full 2 minutes as the crowd here in Windsor has come to life. It's a big moment here for the Windsor Spitfires. As Greg Walters having a word with his power play unit before sending them out. And this Spitfires power play, it's number 3 in the OHL right now at 26.7%. And the penalty kill for Barrie, 11th at 78.6%. They were a perfect 2-2 last night in Sarnia. But this is a different team with this Windsor Spitfires with the amount of firepower they have up front.
Yeah, you know, you don't like these 5-on-3s. It's really hard, especially against talented teams like this Windsor team. But you got to wonder what Greg Walters told his club. They've been a much better team Windsor here in the second period.
And they quickly move it around. Stopped by Horebic. That was Cristoforo at the side of the net. At the point is Greentree. Sets up Belchitz. Ethan Belchitz sends it down low. Woodall from the corner behind the net. Cristoforo has that one bounce over his stick. Greentree gets it back at the point. Down low, Cristoforo, back to Greentree. Belchitz, down to Woodall, side of the net. Passes it back, and Beaudoin got a stick on it, and that puck's going to go back into the Windsor zone. New love out of his net. Leaves it there for the defense as the power play now down to 1:24. It is a 5-on-3 right now for the Spitfires. As carrying it in is Belchis. He'll send this one back to Woodall. Woodall carries it forward, and again, Beaudoin getting that stick in the lane, and puck ends up going out of play.
What a great stick by Cole Beaudoin. That's twice now. And again, you know, you feel like these teams, they get 5-on-3, and it's almost like they try to be a little bit too pretty there. They got that shot, but they don't take it. And nonetheless, a big face-off coming up here. Alvin Crombie going to take it for Barrie.
Crombie, Aitchison, and Von Richter, the 3 players out there for the Colts. Crombie wins the draw. Puck's in the corner. Von Richter trying to settle it down. Sends it to the near side. Belches, first one on it. Sends it back to Nesbitt. Jack Nesbitt will leave it for Woodall. Woodall goes to the middle. Near side, Belches. Belches will come back to the point. Passes it over to Greentree. Greentree waits. Belches, one-timer, misses the net. Greentree able to get to that rebound at the blue line. Greentree settles it down, passes down low. Cristoforo in front, stopped by Horebic. Puck rolls to the line, and that's going to escape the zone. And then Crombie knocks down Belches. Fans want a penalty, none coming. 36 seconds left in the 5-on-3. The Spitfires take it out of their zone. Greentree drops it back to Woodall. Woodall skates it in here for Windsor. Back to the blue line, that's Nesbitt. Jack Nesbitt passes it over to Greentree. Belches in the high slot. Down to Woodall on the near side. From the corner, Woodall puts it behind the net to Cristoforo. Back to Woodall. Carson Woodall back to Cristoforo. Woodall again. Belches fires. Stopped by Horebic. Loose puck. There's still backhand. Stopped again by Horebic. What a save. Horebic is sensational. Belches across to Greentree. Back to Belches. One-timer. Ethan Belches with 1 second left on the 5-on-3. And it's now 2-0 Windsor.
Brandon Horebic is down on the ice. He made a couple of outstanding stops and had so much pressure. And 1 second remaining. And what a howitzer of a shot. No chance for Horebic on that one. And the Windsor power play. Give these teams a power play, much less a two-man advantage. More often than not, they're going to make you pay. And Spitfire exactly that as this team's coming up big here in the second period.
So Ethan Belches, his 34th goal of the season, as Barrie was so close to getting out of that 5-on-3. So the power play has now expired. So back to 5-on-5 hockey. But it's now 2-0 Windsor. 6:20 left to go in the second period. Kayshawn Aitchison from his own blue line goes over to Passmore. Passmore's pass blocked in front by Harvey. Puck's loose. Picked up by Fibiger. Jakob Fibiger will skate this one in for Windsor. Down around the net he goes. Fibiger trying to keep it away from Passmore. Drops it back to Garden. Garden comes out from behind the net. Takes the shot. That hits the side of the goal. Caden Harvey now for the Spitfires. Drops it back to McKeish. McKeish fires, and that one's off the stick of Passmore. And out of play with 5:54 left to go in the period.
The Spitfires doing what good teams do, right? You get the 2-0 lead, you get the momentum going, and the fans are all worked up. And what do? You keep a foot on the pedal, and so it's going to have to find a way here to get out of this period, regroup. You know, you got the third period ahead, been very good to the third periods for the Barrie Colts. Windsor playing their third game in 3 nights. You wonder what's left in the tank. Certainly a lot here in this second period, but credit to the Spitfires have been much better team here in the second period. Again, you give up on a 5-on-3 with the likes of Greentree and Belches, and I mean the amount of talent that's been on that Windsor team, they're going to make you pay.
Yeah, and this is a night and day difference from what we saw in the first period from the Windsor Spitfires, as they were having some difficulty getting things going. But you almost have to wonder, too, with everything that happened there in the first period. We had the 2 4-on-4 situations. You almost wonder if Walters talked to his team to try and calm things down, be more disciplined, because typically this Windsor Spitfire team, they don't usually take a lot of penalties.
That's a big part of it. You get frazzled, but I think a lot of it was Barrie was hitting him at every chance in that first period, and I get a little bit frustrated, but again, get him in there in an intermission, and Craig Walters, whatever he said to his team, is certainly worked here in this second period.
So face off to the left of Ben Horebic. Brad Gardner, he's upset. He's being tossed out. So in steps Ben Wilmot up against McLaughlin. Face off won by the Colts. Aitchison there to pick it up for Barrie. Aitchison, he'll skate this one ahead. Reaches center ice. Aitchison carries this one in for Barrie. Backhand pass ends up behind the Windsor net. Fibiger sends this one ahead. Spitfires will get this one out. There's Ferran, sends this one across to McLaughlin. McLaughlin fires, puts that one wide of the net. Near side, Villeneuve. Quick shot, Ferran, blocked by Passmore. Puck goes in the air. Colts trying to knock it out. Crombie to the line, but that's kept in by Robinson. Robinson fires, stopped by Horebic. Rebound, tucks it out. What a save as Horebic absolutely robbed John McLaughlin. This nearly became a 3-0 hockey game. There's a shot from the point, stopped by Horebic. Brad Gardner, he's able to get this one down the ice. Villeneuve trying to settle it down. Villeneuve gets it again at center. No, whacked away. Picked up now by McLaughlin. McLaughlin sends this one back. There's the shot, and that's stopped by Horebic. As Ben Horebic doing everything he can to keep the Barrie Colts in this game.
Well, the Colts are scrambling and they're on their heels, and right now it's the goaltender hanging them in there. And got to find a way to turn this momentum and kind of regroup here, but the Spitfires just keeping a foot on the pedal right now. Ben Horebic, an outstanding stop.
Shots are now 22-14 for the Spitfires. Facing off to the right of Horebic. Won by Windsor. It's at the blue line. Woodall sends his head. Greentree fans on it. Puck's at the side of the net. Spellacy digs it free. Puck's kicked to the corner. Spellacy sends us back to Greentree. Liam Greentree gets some space. Takes the shot. Fires it over the net. Carson Woodall picks it up at the far side. Drops it there for Cristoforo. His shot blocked in front. Von Richter can't keep that one. Cristoforo finds it. His shot blocked. Schneid's going to skate it out. Schneid avoids the hit, and then Spellacy ran over his teammate Woodall. And now we're going to get a whistle. Says good work there. William Schneid avoiding that hit, but looks like Carson Woodall a little dazed after taking that hit from his teammate.
There's a red rocket train was coming that way, and Richter gets out of the way, but the Colts got to find a way to change the momentum here. It's been all Windsor.
Well, now we've got Harvey mixing it up with Zabeski. The linesman trying to get those two to back up. 4:26 left in the second period. Face-off outside the Windsor blue line. Colts win this one back to Eliasson. Eliasson over to Von Richter. He's going to send this one ahead. Hemming got a stick on it. That's blocked. Spitfires flip this one back into the Barrie zone. Eliasson there to pick it up. They'll send it back to Von Richter. Von Richter ahead for Hemming. Spitfires send this back into the Barrie zone. Parker Von Richter, backhand pass to Eliasson. Eliasson ahead to Hemming. Hemming takes the hit there from Walton. Puck's bouncing. Villeneuve gets it out. In the neutral zone, Eliasson back to Von Richter. Ahead to Mason Zabeski. Hemming gets the pass at the blue line. Spitfires again knock it out. Barrie having a hard time just getting that puck into the Windsor zone. Harvey sends us deep into the Colts territory. Cole Emerton back to play it behind his own net. 3:36 still to go in the second period. Both goals from Windsor coming in the second frame. Here's Teague Vader. Vader's going to dump this one in. Around the boards it goes. Villeneuve after the loose puck. He'll send it behind his own net. Walton continues it around the boards. Emerton keeps it in. That's deflected into the air. Bounces behind the net. Wilmot had it there for a moment. Zabeski was trying to put it in front. Kennedy was in the way. Wilmot again. He's knocked down. Zabeski picks it up. Zabeski back to Vader. Quickly across to Emerton. Emerton takes the shot. Blocked in front. Ferrand blocked that one. His stick broke, but the Spitfires get it down the ice. Vader from his own blue line. Tipped into the zone by Edgar. Rolls behind the Windsor net. Newlove sends it around. Takes a weird bounce along the boards. Spitfires still get it out. Aitchison will dump it right back in. Newlove behind the net to play it. We'll leave it there for Walton. Around the boards it goes. Kept in by McCormick. McCormick trying to go to Edgar, but that's taken away, and the Spitfires skated ahead. Here comes Connor Walton. Walton on the wing, takes the shot, glove save, Horebic, and he's going to hold on to it with 2.5 minutes remaining in the period.
All right, Colts able to put a couple of good shifts together. That's what you want to do, kind of start tilting the other way and some good work up front. Let's get some zone time in that Windsor end, and for all that pressure by Windsor, now you want to keep following that up, keep putting good shift after good shift.
So look at this face-off now to the right of Ben Horebic. Ben Wilmot's going to step in to take the draw against Jack Nesbitt.
I just dropped the puck.
Nesbitt's shaking his head. I know that's been a common complaint around the OHL is how long sometimes these face-offs take.
There's no doubt that a message went out before the season.
Here's Greentree. Shot blocked by Aitchison. Crombie can't get it out. Kept in by Brown. That's deflected. Ends up in the far corner. Greentree trying to get under it. Behind the net. Picked up by Passmore. Up ahead to Crombie. He'll get this one down the ice. That's going to roll all the way down. And now it's an icing call against Barrie.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it. You see it every game. I mean, it's almost every face-off. I don't know whether something went out that teams were complaining that there were some unfair advantages on the face-offs, but it's been a big change in this league that I've seen a lot more guys get kicked out, a lot more time to drop the puck.
We'll see how long it takes this time. It's Gardner and Villeneuve in the face-off dot. Face-off won by the Colts. Passmore. That's taken away by Belches. Back to the blue line. There's the shot blocked in front. There was a crowd parked in front of Karevic. Villeneuve picks it off the boards. Nathan Villeneuve trying to keep that one out of the reach of Passmore. That shot wide of the net, bouncing off the end boards. Aitchison will collect it now for the Colts. Ahead for Crombie. Crombie up to Gardner towards the net. Villeneuve will be the first one on it. One takes a bounce behind the net. Spitfires get it out to center. Knocked down by Von Richter. Von Richter in the neutral zone. Passes this one up. Up to Gardner. Following it up is Crombie. Colts trying to just get it deep into the zone. Now Wilmot will send it around. New Love comes out of his net to play it. Leaves it there for the defense. 1:20 left on the clock. Carson Woodall behind his own goal. He's going to take his time as Windsor is making a line change. Woodall directing traffic still while standing behind his own net. Greentree's coming back. Greentree will pick this one up for the Spitfires. He'll skate this one ahead. Liam Greentree with speed. Carries this one in for Windsor. Final minute of the second period. Greentree takes a hard hit there from Eliason. Desiderio trying to continue it along the boards. Von Richter comes up with it. Sends it back to Eliason. Eliason will skate this one forward. Goes to Schneid. Up the wing. Desiderio. That got away from him. Woodall back behind the net. And they're going to call this an icing, I believe, against the Barrie Colts.
And you got this late draw in your own zone. And so these last few minutes, I mean, I think it was important to, first you think just get out of the period, but they put together some good shifts to get a good feeling going into that second intermission. And big draw right here.
Face off to the right of Harevic. Newton's going to take the draw here for the Colts. Scrambled draw. Schneid after it. He's going to send this one across. It escapes the zone. There's Desiderio. Desiderio takes the hit from McLaughlin. Newton trying to move it ahead. Desiderio gave a couple of cross checks there to McLaughlin. Play continues. New Love will play it behind the net. 22 seconds left in the period. McLaughlin takes another hit from Newton. McKeish. Nice move there to get by Keishon Aitchison. That's going to go deep. Von Richter there to pick it up for the Colts. Up ahead to Aitchison. 8 seconds remaining. Aitchison avoids the hit from McLaughlin. 5 seconds. Battle in front of the Windsor bench. And that will do it for the second period of play. As the two teams will be separated. Nicholas Desiderio having words with Alex Ferran. But cooler heads will prevail, it seems. As that was a second period where the Windsor Spitfires just took over the hockey game, where it was all really the Barrie Colts were in control in that first period. But right now, shots 23-14 in favor of the Windsor Spitfires. But what a change in the hockey game from what we saw in the opening 20 to this last 20.
I'm sure that Greg Walters, after that first period, had a talk with his team and did just much more energy. And, Barrie dominated physically. We started to see that. I think they went back to that near the end of the second period. But, credit to the Spitfires, you get that shorthanded goal and your power play comes through. But, talking to Dylan Smoskowitz, get these teams, any team, you get down 5-on-3, that's a tough sledding. And Harevic's been outstanding. You've kept him in with a couple of big stops. And now you hope that you can build some momentum here, a bit better finish for that second period. I hope you carry it through into the third period, which has been very good for the Barrie Colts.
And really, the play of A.J. Spellacy shorthanded. We saw the penalty kill in the first period. Spellacy had a couple of good chances, but then here in the second, finally was able to fire one past Ben Harevic. There was the review. It was such a quick in and out. But Spellacy gets that goal, the Chicago Blackhawks prospect, and changes the complexion of this game.
Yeah, it did. And, again, it feeds the momentum. And then all of a sudden you get that 5-on-3, you score again. And you can see it. Windsor did a good job of keeping the foot on the pedal there. And the Colts had to find a way to kind of break that momentum. And they put together two shifts, and that kind of changed it again. I think Dylan Smoswitz calls the timeout. I think they settled down a bit. And what I liked at the end of that first period, Barrie went again back, if you notice, a lot more physical than into that second period. That's what you want. That's what Windsor struggled with in that first period. And I think, again, you're going to hear from Dylan Smoswitz that, hey, what's our identity? We're a tough team to play against. And I think they went back to that at the end of the second period there.
And I was just going to say, because obviously Greg Walters had something to say in that first intermission, which turned the game around for the Windsor Spitfires. And now it's Dylan Smoskowitz's moment where, well, what's he going to say in that locker room? Because we've seen it in the past, like even during this 11-game winning streak the Barrie Colts are on, that they go into the third period and suddenly they look like a whole different team. And this is a Windsor team that's a lot stronger than some of those opponents they've played in the past. But will we see that Barrie Colts team turn it up here in the third period?
Well, you wonder. It's going to be tough sledding. But, again, you look at it in 3 games and 3 nights. I was talking to Dylan Smoswitz about that. And he said, look, I mean, that's why all year, we talk about the day-by-day model, preparing yourself. That when you get in those situations, you can kind of motor through that 3 periods, right? They work on their conditioning. And I think, it'll be a good test for the Windsor Spitfires with this intense opening 40 minutes and see if they can keep it on the foot on the pedal here. But still a long way to go, I think, for the Colts. Let's continue that momentum that we got near the end of the second period.
So it is 2-0 after 2 periods of play here at the WFCU Centre. We're going to take a break. We're going to check in with the OHL news. And when we return, we will check in with the chat. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll have some more conversation before the start of the third period.
I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us on this week's edition of OHL News. Coming up on this week's show, we'll check in with what's happening with the Brantford Bulldogs as they remain the top team in the OHL Eastern Conference. But first, this week's Cogeco OHL Player of the Week is Guelph Storm defenseman Quinn Beauchesne. He had 2 goals and 6 assists for 8 points in 4 Guelph victories last week, including an overtime winning goal in a 3-2 win over the Sarnia Sting. The 18-year-old, who hails from Ottawa, was the Storm's first-round pick, 14th overall in the 2023 OHL Priority Selection. He was chosen by the Pittsburgh Penguins in Round 5 of the 2025 NHL Entry Draft. Meantime, the Brantford Bulldogs have been red-hot all season in the Ontario Hockey League, coming into this week's play with a 3-point lead on the Barrie Colts for the top spot in the OHL Eastern Conference. Troy Islacker is the color commentator on the Bulldogs broadcast for Rogers TV and the Bulldogs audio network, and we caught up this week to get an update on what's happening in Brantford. Well, Troy, let's talk about the Brantford Bulldogs, a club that many eyes have been on throughout the season, but you certainly have seen them all throughout the year. If here we are in late February, if you took that 30,000-foot view of how the season has gone so far for the Brantford Bulldogs, what stands out?
Well, certainly that forward crew led by Jake O'Brien, Merrick Van Acker, they've just did a fantastic job. They have done a fantastic job since day one. It's been quite impressive what they've been able to do. And one thing that doesn't get talked about enough is that core 6 of defense and the tandem of goaltending with Egeroff and Linders has just been spectacular and very, very consistent all season long.
Depth, I'm sure, has been a big factor all season. As we know in junior hockey, you can have those top 3 guys going, but maybe they're not going every night. Or as you said, even a top 6. I'm sure that's where the fact that they can roll lines and keep many guys engaged in a game has to be a big factor.
Yeah, and now that you've got, your Jet Lachenko and Gabriel Frasca and Charlie Paquette to added into that mix, it's lengthened the lines out definitely for them. And gives a little bit more room for the Jake O'Briens and the Malholtras and Merrick Van Ackers of the world, even Adam Banak, who has a sensational season, just gives them a little bit more breathing room to let them do their thing.
You've seen Jake O'Brien right from day one, and of course, being a top rookie in this league, growing to be a top 10 NHL pick with the Kraken. How would you describe just how he has grown into his game on and off the ice?
Physically, he's grown, which is definitely necessary at the next level. But he's just got that sixth sense that you you can't teach a player. And Jay McKee talks about it all the time, that he does everything the right way on the ice, off the ice. He's a quiet leader, and his vision of the game and how he thinks the game analytically. I've just never seen anything like it. Like, he's made passes this season that have just floored me. I have no idea how he's found a seam to get through, but he's consistently done it all season long. And yeah, Seattle Kraken definitely have a good pickup there.
Obviously, some guys who get them picked in the top 10 maybe think they're going to crack the NHL right off the bat. The Kraken kind of made it known right off the bat. Okay, we're going to sign you, but we're going to send you back to a very strong Brantford club. But it sounds like even what you're seeing on the ice has really shown he took that time to learn some important things with the Kraken, but then really brought that back to grow his game with Brantford.
Yeah, and you can see everything has just grown. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, physically he's a little bit bigger, and he's not getting dominated at the faceoff dot like he did his first season. He, that was a bit of an issue. A 16-year-old in a league with some 20-year-olds up front, it's sometimes difficult. So his those little intricacies of his game are now starting to improve, and knowing that where he is on the ice in relation to defenders, gives himself some extra space, knowing that they're going to be coming up on him quick, and how to roll off those hits as well, and still maintain the puck.
Take us through the growth of Caleb Malhotra.
I just wow, just Caleb Malhotra just impresses me every single night we see him. It takes me back to September when Reed and I had an opportunity to interview him when he first came to the team, and I had to double take and triple take on the page his DOB, his date of birth. This he was like 17 going on 25, like just so impressive, the maturity level, and on and off the ice. And you can tell, I mean, he played last year in the BCHL and with some older players as well. And you can tell that's really helped him. And just the growth, his ability to go from 0 to 60 in seconds with the puck. Now he's getting, it's tough for defenders to take the puck off of him. He turns, he gives them the hip, and he's so mobile and agile in the corners that he's really tough to take the puck off. And then he's able to come out of the corners and create offensively, just because of what he's able to do and his quickness for a big guy. Just so impressed by him. And we talked to him, like I say, back early in the season, and I said, like, your interview was flawless, like just the way you hold yourself and so your maturity level. And he said, yeah, my dad and I would drive home from hockey games, and he would interview me in the car. And I thought, wow, that's one thing that you just don't think about. But Manny Malhotra, knowing what is coming down the road for him, has got him prepared for that. And you can see it. He's got all the bases covered, and he will be a high first-round pick, no doubt, this season.
This Bulldogs club, of course, people have expected big things out of them all season. Has it been helpful, the fact that Ottawa's been right there battling for the East Division title, the Barrie Colts right there for the Eastern Conference? Has it really maybe helped this group all season, knowing they've never been home and cooled out for any spot in the standings, because Ottawa and Barrie have been right there with them?
Yeah, Ottawa and Barrie have been impressive, as particularly Ottawa, what they've been able to do this season, and some great coaching on both teams, and just great staff that they can put out on the ice. It's just tremendous. But you think around this time of year, teams tend to look to the playoffs. But the Bulldogs have had a couple games this season where that might be evident.
That was Troy Islacker from the Brantford Bulldogs broadcast. Here's a look at this week's CHL Top 10 rankings presented by Delta Hotels by Marriott. The Bulldogs come in at number 7 this week, with 2 OHL teams above them. The Barrie Colts at number 5, and the Kitchener Rangers at number 6. That's going to do it for our show this week. You've been listening to OHL News. I'm Terry Doyle. Thanks for joining us.
So it's the second intermission here at the WFCU Centre between the Barrie Colts and the Windsor Spitfires. It's been a game of two storylines, really. The first period where the Windsor Spitfires having some issues getting pucks to the net. The Barrie Colts kind of dominating and controlling the flow of the play. And then in the second, it was all Windsor as the Colts then struggled to get pucks down the ice. They ended up with just 3 shots in that second period. So we'll see what the Colts are able to do coming into this third. But in the meantime, we do have the chat up and running. So if you want to take part in the conversation, you can put your comment there or questions or whatever it is that you may want to discuss here on the broadcast. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Funny, I get taken off the broadcast, and all of a sudden the team doesn't look too good.
Oh, so you're saying it's Gene's fault? You'll have to take that up with him.
4 other games going on in the OHL tonight, including one earlier. It was the London Knights picking up a 5-0 win over the Brampton Steelheads. Erie and Owen Sound in a barn burner, 4-4 after 2 periods, despite Owen Sound only having 13 shots. Flint up 1-0 on Ottawa going to the third period, and then Peterborough Saginaw tied up 1, and that'll do it. Yeah, 4 other games. That Flint game, another good start for Mason Vicari, who it was interesting earlier this week. The OHL released the goals saved above expected numbers, and he was number 1. It's I know it's always interesting. We always talk about when some of these numbers get released.
Yeah, and I kind of wish the OHL would make the advanced stats more available for the broadcasters, because some of those advanced stats are fascinating. And I know that a lot of NHL teams and even the OHL clubs, they rely on some of those advanced stats. So it'd be kind of nice if they would maybe allow that a little bit more often. But it is fascinating with those Flint Firebirds right now, 1 point back of the Windsor Spitfires, and they're not going to be too happy seeing that the Spitfires are right now up 2-0 on the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Vicari and Joey Costanzo, who isn't starting tonight, but is a member of the Windsor Spitfires. 2 guys in their overage seasons that so-so,
yeah,
but before this year, and kind of taking that Jackson Parsons route of so-so throughout your career, but then maybe earning a future role in a NHL contract. I can't find the post. Okay.
Well, the Wi-Fi here is pretty slow.
I probably skipped past it too, but yeah. So Vicari's doing a really good job there, which is really good to see. I mean, Kingston kind of gave up on him last year. I mean, he was transitioned to the backup. Schenkel got the job, and Charlie Schenkel struggled throughout the playoffs, and they never went to Vicari. They had multiple opportunities to go to him, didn't go to him, and then maybe that relationship gets fractured. He goes to Flint, a team where it's okay. You're the guy. We don't know how good we're going to be this year. You have to step up, and Vicari stepped up. Costanzo here in Windsor, kind of the conversation. Okay, we got a really good group here. If we're going to be trading assets at the deadline, if you're not good enough, we're going to go find another goalie, like a Carter George or something. But with Joey Costanzo, he's done a good job here this season. Windsor was able to go find some assets elsewhere, and they've got a number one starting goalie in Joey Costanzo.
Yeah, and also we're seeing Michael Newlove here tonight, and Newlove having a solid job so far in this hockey game. Mind you, only 14 shots his way, but still got to give credit to Michael Newlove. But looking at the chat, Liam says, I hope Barrie has one of those famous third periods they've come to be known for. And Gina and I were even talking about that. Is this the point where Dylan Smoskowitz is going to have that inspiring conversation that it appears Greg Walters had during the first intermission?
Well, I don't think I want to be in their conversation that happened at the end of the second period. That was a really rough period for Barrie Colts. Couple bad penalties, couple goals against, and really got dominated by the Windsor Spitfires. And we're not used to this because this is what we see the Barrie Colts do to some of these other teams. We're not really used to it going the other way as of late. So it was pretty surprising to see. And yeah, it's obviously Dylan Smoskowitz is going to be looking for a big third period out of his guys. And credit to Michael Newlove as well. I mean, 12 shots in the first period for Barrie. He stopped all of them. That's a big reason. Barrie had a better period in the first period, but Newlove was able to slam the door shut. And I thought Arebic had a good period there in the second as well. I mean, the power play, another shorthanded goal against, that's tough. And then that Belcha shot, Arebic had no chance on the 5-on-3. Did a really good job on that. So,
and that was just 1 second left on that.
Yeah, I know.
It's
too. A second later, and it it was a tough period overall, but you got to keep in mind that, I mean, this didn't do Brantford any wonders last Saturday because the third period was the Colts' best period, but third period of a 3-3, you're on period number 9, maybe a bit tired for the Windsor Spitfires. We'll have to see, but like I just mentioned, the Colts, we thought, ninth period, they score 3 goals on the best team in the OHL. So you never know.
Yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see. And I know Liam even mentioned it in the comments earlier about, the third period. And he was saying basically that, this is kind of the path the Colts have taken in the
I don't know if you've noticed. That's one of the jokes that started in the chat. Oh, we'll check back in the third when they come and dominate the opposing team. They've been really dominant in these third periods, especially last weekend. They controlled all 3 third periods, and it looked like men amongst boys in those third periods. And Barrie's going to be looking for another one here. Obviously, last night didn't get a goal in the third period, and it was Sarnia tying the game with the shorthanded marker. So we'll have to see what happens tonight. They're going to be pushing hard for offense here in the third period.
So the teams are on the ice getting ready to go for the third. It's been an entertaining game here at the WFCU Centre. The fans, they have been quite involved and energetic, something you do expect whenever you do come to Windsor, a very passionate fan base. And we'll see what's in store here as we get ready for this third period of play. Cole Baudouin is going to take the draw against Jack Nesbitt. And we are back underway. Face-off won by the Colts, 5 aside. And we'll see what's in store here. Puck's bouncing at center. Nesbitt picks it up here for the Spitfires. His shot stopped by Horebic. Rebound picked up by Zabeski, and the Colts get it out to center ice. Kennedy sends this one ahead, picked off by Zabeski. He wasn't able to move that one ahead. Spellisy skates this one in for the Spitfires. That's taken away. Colts moving ahead. Zabeski, backhand pass up to Hemming. That's out of his reach. Spitfires get it to the line and out. Spellisy comes up with it. Takes a hard hit from Baudouin. Baudouin nearly sent Spellisy into the bench. Zabeski trying to take that one to the net. Knocked off his stick. Jack Nesbitt, he's going to skate this one back behind his own goal. Being pressured there by Zabeski. Doesn't give him a lot of time. Here's Walton. He'll send that one across to Kennedy. Kennedy dumps this one in. That's going to go around the boards. Von Richter sends this one back. Ferran was trying to pick it up. Got by him. Cristoforo. That one's knocked down by the Colts. Coming up with it here is Brad Gardner. Up to Crombie. Crombie, he'll dump this one in. Wilmot gives chase. Newlove out of his net. He'll send it around. At the point, Von Richter kicks this one up to Crombie. Backhand pass. Here's Gardner up the middle, but the puck rolled on him. And the Spitfires will get it out. Crombie, though, puts it right back into the Windsor zone. Cristoforo comes up with it. Up to Fibiger. Jakob Fibiger. He falls, trying to play it from his knees. Backhand Crombie, and that goes right to Michael Newlove, and he's going to hold on to it.
Well, Newlove, an .880 save percentage on the season, 9-11 record. And he's done a good job tonight, though, against this Barrie Colts team that's really good offensive team. You think last night, they scored 2 goals against Quinlan with an .877. They're probably hunting for some goals tonight, but they haven't been able to find any.
Yeah, it's been tough going with a couple of solid goaltenders this weekend. As we'll get the face-off to the right, left of Michael Newlove. Scramble draw. Desiderio shot blocked by Cristoforo. Spitfires will move it up. That's sent up the ice. Here's McKeish. McKeish trying to go to the net. Knocked away by Vader. McKeish trying to stay on it. Teague Vader's got him tied up. Cole Emerton around his own net. Fibiger trying to get to it. Blocked by Newton. Vader again here for the Colts. Vader facing some pressure there from Harvey. They continue to battle. Garden trying to take it away from Newton. Newton around his net. Garden falls. Jaden Newton up to Cole Emerton. Passes it up. Schneid got a piece of it, so that won't be icing. Puck goes deep. Cristoforo back to pick it up here for the Spitfires. Keeps it away from Schneid. McKeish. He'll skate this one forward. Flips this one deep. Spellacy gets behind the defense. He's able to pick it up. Spellacy already a goal tonight. Loses it to Kayshawn Aitchison. Aitchison from his own zone. Passes it up. Here's Edgar. Edgar's going to dump it in. A more cautious start to this period than what we saw in the first and second, as Robinson's going to send this one up the ice. Spellacy gets to it, but he was ahead of the play, and that's going to be offside.
Of course, that pass coming from the offensive zone. Liam Greentree getting into it again with Crombie and Edgar. And Robinson passing that one from his own zone, so it'll come all the way back down the ice, and Barrie will get the top guys out there with an opportunity here, trying to make it 2-1. Like you mentioned, a slow start to this period, so Barrie may be looking to take advantage of this.
Barrie Colts wanting the face-off on the right side of Michael Newlove, but the official already in place. So the draw will come to his left. Beaudoin taking the draw up against Nesbitt. Wait for them to drop it. There it is. Face-off won by the Spitfires. Kennedy will send it around. Here's Liam Greentree. Greentree ahead for Nesbitt. Gets a stick on it. Nesbitt fires. Puts that one over the net. At the blue line, it's Greentree. Greentree keeps it away from Beaudoin. Skates it down low. Greentree from the corner. Trying to bank it in front. Nesbitt jams. Stopped by Horebic. Rebound. Spellacy can't find it. Colts clear it, but not out. Kept in by Kennedy. Here's Greentree again for Windsor. Takes the shot. Goes into the crowd. Colts will pick it up. Skates it ahead is Zabeski. Aitchison back to Zabeski. Zabeski, he tripped up. Play continues. Spitfires with it. Wyatt Kennedy passing this one forward in the neutral zone. It's collected by Cole Beaudoin. Beaudoin enters the zone, takes the shot, and that one will go out of play, and we'll get the face-off.
Barrie thought they were going to be able to go back to the power play there. Zabeski coming into the zone, got taken down, but no call on that one, and stay playing 5-on-5 as Barrie's still looking for their first shot of the period. Windsor's added 2 more to their total.
And now those shots, 25-14 in favor of the Spitfires. The shots have been kind of hard to come by in this third. Face-off won by the Colts. Eliasson, one-timer. That one hit Belchis in the chest. And we get a whistle here as Ethan Belchis will make his way to the bench. He seems to be okay. Colts a little confused as to why the whistle was blown there.
Yes, they were trying to make sure he was okay, but I mean, he was getting up. Like, Barrie's got the puck in the offensive zone. It didn't hit him in the face or anything.
Unless that's what they thought. And they got the quick whistle, but either way, we'll do this face-off now to the right of Michael Newlove.
He's a very tall guy, so he does have a lot of padding. So
Here's Von Richter, hesitates, fans on it. Von Richter again, kicked aside, but Wilmot couldn't get to that rebound. Puck will sail out to center ice. Slice into Wilmot, he'll dump it in. Newlove out of his net. Michael Newlove passing it up to Robinson. Robinson sends it forward. Picked up here by Von Richter. Von Richter trying to hold it. McLaughlin loses it. Picked up here by Gardner. Gardner on the wing, takes the shot, stop, rebound. Crombie couldn't get to the rebound in time. Puck goes to the corner. He's tied up by Woodall. Puck goes behind the net for Robinson. He's going to skate this one up. That pass taken away by the Colts. They keep that one in just by Gardner. Wilmot takes the shot off the post. Ben Wilmot strikes iron. Colts get it again. Here's Brad Gardner in the high slot. Takes the shot blocked in front by Robinson. Villeneuve. He'll skate this one out now for the Windsor Spitfires. Makes a move. Tripped up by Wilmot. That's going to be a penalty. And I wonder if they're going to call this kneeing as Nathan Villeneuve slow to get up, holding on to his left knee as Wilmot was coming across to throw the hit, and Nathan Villeneuve made the move to try to avoid it. And they're going to call this a trip.
Yeah, Wilmot just looking to line him up there, had him lined up, but Villeneuve tried to get around him, and that's where the knees look like they collide, and he's down and getting up. Hopefully he's okay, as Windsor going to get a power play here with a chance to make it a 3-goal lead.
Well, the power play tonight already 1 for 2 for Windsor. And that power play goal came on the 5-on-3 situation. So good news for Windsor fans. Villeneuve is staying on the bench, but he's in a lot of discomfort. And he's the leading scorer on this Spitfires team. Obviously, they want to make sure he's going to be okay. The big pickup from Sudbury at the OHL trade deadline. 15:36 left to go in the hockey game. Windsor on the power play. They win the draw back to Woodall. Woodall fires it, stopped by Hrebeck. Aitchison after the loose puck, and he'll get it out. That gets back to the Windsor blue line. Woodall picks it up. Carson Woodall will skate this one forward through the neutral zone. Woodall enters the attacking zone, sends that one wide of the net. Aitchison, he'll get this one out and down the ice. Colts right now keeping things simple on this penalty kill. 1:33 left in the man advantage as Green Tree will leave it for Woodall. Carson Woodall lost it in his own skates, goes back to Belchis. He loses it. Green Tree follows it up. Green Tree, his pass blocked by Zabeski. Nesbitt picks it up now for Windsor. Along the boards, down low to Belchis, behind the Barrie net. Belchis in front, that's blocked. Ends up in the corner, back to the point, Cristoforo. Near side for Woodall. Woodall fires, stop, rebound. Aitchison able to get to it in time. That gets to the point now, bounces over the stick of Cristoforo. Now Zabeski after it, and then Cristoforo keeps it away from the Colts forward. Spitfires with it. Woodall carries it in for Windsor. At the point, that rolled on him, but it still reaches Nesbitt. Nesbitt forced into the boards by Von Richter. Back to the point, Woodall. His shot trying to go to Belchis at the side of the net. That doesn't connect. Liam Greentree back to Woodall. Woodall, Belchis, fans on the one-timer. Belchis will get this one back to Greentree. 34 seconds left in the man advantage. Here's Nesbitt. Nesbitt loses it. Gardner pokes it behind the net. Von Richter is going to fire this one around the boards. Woodall keeps it in. Carson Woodall trades places with Belchis. Side of the net, that's Greentree. Goes back to Woodall. Woodall winds up, goes to Greentree. One-timer stopped by Hrebeck. As the power play now down to just 14 seconds for the Spitfires.
Well, Mason Zabeski saw an opportunity there, shorthanded, got on his horse. But great play by Cristoforo, diving out, knocking the puck away, played it perfectly. Stick didn't come anywhere close to Zabeski. No tripping penalty to be taken, and gets that puck clear away and negates a potential breakaway.
So bring this face-off to the left of Ben Hrebeck. 14 seconds left in the tripping penalty to Ben Wilmot. Bodwin's going to take the draw against A.J. Spelisi. Linesman will give some more instructions here as they restart. Scramble draw, won by the Colts. Passmore takes it around his own net. He's just going to put this down the length of the ice. New Love will play it. As Wilmot ready to come out of the penalty box. We're down to 13 and a half minutes remaining in the hockey game. The Spitfires skated up. Here's Spelisi into the attacking zone. Backhand. Stopped by Hrebeck. Side of the nets. And another save. That was Fibiger following it up on Spelisi. Puck's deflected into the Windsor zone. Robinson. He'll send this one around. Near side, Fibiger. Got this one out to the neutral zone. Picked up by Vader. Teague Vader is going to dump this one in for the Colts. Right now, the Barrie Colts are making a line change. Robinson forced out from behind the net. Fibiger passes it forward to Ferran. Ferran lost it there. Picked it by Wilmot. Here's Newton. His shot stopped by New Love. It goes in the air. Colts can't get to it. Now it's Newton. Backhand. Blocked again by the Spitfires. Schneid fires that one wide of the net. Couple of good looks there for the Barrie Colts, but the bounces aren't going their way right now. Fibiger up to Ferran, but that's going to go down the length of the ice. Won't be enough for icing as it's picked up by Vader. Schneid skates it in for the Colts. Knocked away there by Robinson. Schneid, he's tied up. Trying to move it along. Fibiger sends it to an open wing. After it now is Aitchison. Back to the point. Desiderio takes the shot, and that goes off Schneid. And Harvey will collect it now and skates it out to center. Taken there by Desiderio. He falls. Spitfires send it deep. Vader there to pick it up for the Colts. He's tied up. McKeish side of that. In front, stopped by Hrebeck, and that's knocked to the point. Kept in there by Cristoforo. His shot off McKeish. That ends up back behind the Barrie net. Nicholas Desiderio. He's run into the boards from behind. Colts want a penalty, none coming. Newton after it. Battle continues. Puck sent behind the net. Vader after it. McKeish knocked to the point. Cristoforo fires that one wide. Desiderio picks it up here for the Colts. He's going to send this one back to the Windsor blue line. Cristoforo picks it up, catching the Colts on a line change. His shot, stop, rebound. It was sitting there. Von Richter tried to clear it. Ends up in the corner. Emerton gets it up. Wilmot trying to get behind the defense. The puck was rolling on him. Ends up back behind the Windsor net. Greentree. He's tied up. Gave that one away to Wilmot. Ben Wilmot from the half boards. Greentree got in the way of that pass attempt. Gardner behind the Windsor net. Loose puck picked up by Greentree. Sends this one ahead. Nope, blocked there by Wilmot. Ben Wilmot along the boards. From behind the net. Passes this back to the blue line. It's Cole Emerton. Emerton takes the shots, and that goes wide of the net. Von Richter down to Crombie in front. No one there for the Colts. And the Spitfires will move it up. Here's Liam Greentree. Lost the handle of it. Looked like he was going to try and send it around the boards. Spitfires still with possession. There's a shot from Walton. Blocked in front. That went off Nesbitt. Spitfires throwing their weight around. McLaughlin with a big hit on Wilmot. Spitfires keeping in the offensive end. Loose puck taken away by Wilmot. Ben Wilmot at center. He's going to dump it in. Rolls to the net. Newlove slows it down. Kennedy back to Walton. Walton takes his time. Now sends it forward off the stick of Belchis. So no icing. Passmore behind his own net. Liasson trying to pick that one up. Spitfires putting on more pressure here. Villeneuve back on the ice after that knee injury. Picked up by Belchis. Back to the point, Walton. We'll send this one down low. Ferrand. Back to Walton. Walton puts that one wide of the net. Off the end boards. Passmore. We'll send this one around. Walton off the point. Runs over the Colt player. That was Zabeski. What a big hit there from Connor Walton. Walton gets it out his own blue line. He's going to dump it in. And goes off for a change as we're now past the midway point of the third period. Ferrand sends it down low. Picked up by Villeneuve. That pass is blocked. He takes a hit from Zabeski. Puck bouncing at center. Fibiger passing that one over. Cristoforo will just hammer this one back into the Barrie zone. Here's Jakob Fibiger. Fibiger sending it around the ice. Far side, Cristoforo. Back to McKeish. His shot wide of the net. Here's Fibiger again. He's going to send this one around as the Colts look like they're on their heels right now. Pucks to the point, kept in by McKeish. Back Sultan McKeish takes the shot, kicked aside by Hrebeck. Puck's loose, backhand, and that goes off the skate of Bodwin. Hrebeck's knocked over. He's still on his backside, shot in the head. Cristoforo from the point. The Barrie Colts are protesting. And it's now 3-0 Windsor, but I expect this one will be reviewed.
Well, Hrebeck was taken down, Passmore the entire way, going all the way to the timekeeper's area, trying to argue with the officials. But Hrebeck, he was still down when couldn't get up as Cristoforo fires it home. Great shot from the point, but got to assume there's a review coming. For Barrie, even if you're worried that it may still count, you're down 2-0. It's going to be 3-0. It doesn't really matter if you have to take a extra penalty here if it ends up down 3-0.
So Dylan Smoskowitz calling over the official. Well, wait and see if he's going to do a challenge here for goaltender interference. Hrebeck right now on his knees, still in his net. So Moskowitz had the conversation, and I think they're going to be challenging it. Yes. So Verbeek has done the signal, so they're going to review this one. But we saw that Ben Hrebeck, he went down. It almost looked like the official was saying Passmore may have pushed the Spitfire player into the net.
Passmore was arguing right away. And Mike, I don't know if you noticed to our right, but Connor's got an assistant video coach with him there, and Carter Lowe.
Well, we tried to get Carter Lowe to join us here in the second intermission, but I guess he's got more So he'd rather be doing the video coach work. So we'll have to wait and see. We don't have access to replays, but we'll have to wait and see on this one as Joe Monette now on the headset looking at the tablet. From our vantage point, there was traffic in the crease, and Ben Horebic was knocked over.
The thing that's interesting to me is that Passmore was arguing like right away. Like he felt like he didn't do anything, and obviously Horebic was down. Horebic was down for a reason. He doesn't dive around in the crease there, so we'll have to see.
Well, Horebic is still on his knees in his crease, having a conversation with Gabriel Eliasson. Kayshawn Aitchison there, too, to have a word with his goaltender. But they're having a long look at this. So it was called goal on the play, so you have to have evidence to overturn it, or you go with the ruling on the ice.
Of course, I mean, so huge. The difference between 2-0 and 3-0. If it's a 1-0 game, it goes to 2-0. Yeah, obviously that still hurts, but you're still in a 2-0 game. And 3-0, it's, you're still technically in it, but it's a tough task to come back on a team like Windsor down 3 with 9 minutes left.
Well, leading up to that goal, though, the Barrie Colts, they were just struggling to get the puck
Windsor
out of
was
their
all
zone.
over them. It's, like I said, not something we're used to seeing. And Barrie's given it, but Windsor's also giving it right back on the physicality side of things. And we'll get the call here, it looks like, coming up here.
Yeah, Monette putting the tablet back in the penalty box. So we'll get the indication here in just a moment. This arena, it's going to erupt one way or another, depending on what comes here. And the referee steps in his spot. No goal. So it's disallowed. They're going to say it was goaltender interference, so it remains 2-0 for Windsor.
The nice thing is that that's no goal.
Oh, yeah, now we just see the replay.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's no goal.
Well, better late than never.
It's funny, I was just about to say, we don't get to look at the replay, so, afterwards we could just we don't have to agree or disagree with the officials. We just be like, okay.
Well, in the second period, I was saying to Gene how we don't have access to Connor and his laptop.
Yeah, I know. He's usually in front of us, but he's to the right. Well, next year we'll have to just run over there.
Well, he's not. Well, you'd have to go over the bin, and get by Gene. But either way, no goal.
He's looking at us like
he's wondering what we're talking about.
What is going on with those two now?
So they just announced it, no goal due to goaltender interference, and the fans here at the WFCU Centre showing their thoughts on that call as the Colts scan it in. Here's Kayshawn Aitchison. His shot deflected over the net and out of play. But 8:51 remaining. This is where the Barrie Colts, they're going to have to dig deep to get back into this hockey game.
Yeah, its shots are 10-3 in favor of Windsor as we've now get another break with the TV timeout. But yeah, I mean, it's Windsor again has controlled this period, and it's really been all Spitfires, and Barrie's been on their heels multiple times, hasn't created much offensively since the first period, and Windsor's played a really complete game here tonight.
Well, this is something we haven't seen really since the trade deadline, where the Barrie Colts have been outplayed and outshot. And even in this third period, we talked about in the second intermission, waiting to see, would they flip that switch? And, for the Colts,
Really?
it's the Windsor Spitfires have had an answer for them ever since the start of the second.
Only one goal in regulation for Barrie this weekend. And you've seen this team firing on all cylinders offensively, but not so far this weekend. And obviously Dylan Smoskowitz going to mix things up late in the game as Cole Emerton and Kayshawn Aitchison together, two offensive defensemen. And Aitchison won that battle for where the faceoff was supposed to be.
So the faceoff will come to the right of Michael Newlove. Ben Wilmot's going to take the draw against Nathan Villeneuve. Faceoff won cleanly by the Colts at the blue line. Aitchison sets up Emerton. Emerton fires into the crowd. Gardner's there, but the puck rolls wide of the net. Crombie behind the goal. Robinson takes it away from him. Robinson up ahead. Belches will get this one out and down the ice. Emerton has McLaughlin get past him. McLaughlin hits the brakes. He's hit there by Aitchison. McLaughlin sends this one around. Villeneuve continues it back to Woodall. Woodall fires deflected, sitting in front. Belches couldn't get to it. Picked up by Wilmot. He's going to skate it out. Sends this one forward to Gardner. Gardner trying to get around Robinson. He takes him into the boards. Puck sent around. Villeneuve catches up to it. Keeps it away from Aitchison. Nathan Villeneuve in his own zone. Turns it over. Gives to Gardner. What a save by Newlove. As Nathan Villeneuve gave a gift to Brad Gardner, but he could not connect.
Oh, Villeneuve basically just gave the Colts new life there for a moment. What a turnover. And then Gardner with the great look right out front of Newlove. And nice glove save there by the Windsor netminder, who continues to have a really strong game tonight.
So a face-off now to the right of Newlove. Nesbitt's going to take the draw against Beaudoin. Face-off won by the Colts. Back to the point, but Vader fanned on it. Puck will escape the zone. Teague Vader from his own blue line sends this one ahead. Zabeski tips it into the Windsor zone. Walton there to pick it up for the Spitfires. Drops it over to Kennedy. Kennedy to the line. Vader couldn't get to it. Greentree chases after it down the ice. He's got Nesbitt in front. Across, but he can't connect. Spitfires keep it down low. Here's Nesbitt. Passes it in front to Greentree. Greentree in front. Blocked by Beaudoin. Spitfires with it again. It's AJ Spellacy. Spellacy in front. Stopped by Horebic. Zabeski gets it in the corner. Up ahead. Beaudoin can't get a stick on it. Nesbitt loses it. Puck will escape the zone. Walton fires it back on net. Horebic got a piece of it, but not enough. Loose puck collected by Teague Vader. Vader reaches center. He's going to dump it in. Puck goes deep. Walton back to pick it up for Windsor. Sends us over to Kennedy. Kennedy fanned on it. Hemmings there trying to move it forward. Beaudoin trying to get a stick on it. In the corner is Walton. Walton skated into Emil Hemming, but the Spitfires still get it out. Passmore sends it back into the Windsor zone. Newlove behind the net. He'll leave it there for his defense. And then Newlove was tripped up by Desiderio, and that's going to be a goaltender interference penalty. It is not the kind of penalty you need right now in this third period. So a delayed call. This will give Windsor some time. Ferran, he's just going to pass it over to Walton. Up to McKeish. Windsor's going to take their time. 6.5 minutes left in the game. Garden saw Aitchison coming. Avoids the hit. Gives it to Newton, and we get the call. So this is going to be goaltender interference against Nicholas Desiderio.
And Newlove, right, kind of turned there as Desiderio was coming around, but Desiderio just getting a bit too close in the crease there, and got to be careful with 6:30 left. You don't want to take a penalty, and a couple undisciplined plays by Barrie tonight. Now Windsor's got a chance to make it 3-0, and even if they can't score, they have the possibility to get this down to 4:30 left in the game.
So the Spitfires now on their fourth power play of the night, already 1 for 3. So a big moment here for the Barrie Colts. 6.5 minutes left. Desiderio in the penalty box. Face off to the right of Horebic. Face off won by the Spitfires. Nesbitt backhand up the post. Colts get this one down the ice. So Newlove will set things up here for Windsor. Leaves it for Carson Woodall. Woodall's going to skate this one up quickly for Windsor. Drops it back for Greentree. Greentree reaches center ice. Lost the handle of it. He's able to reconnect. Sends this one back. Horebic. He'll send this one around. Puck's bouncing at the point. Cristoforo keeps it in. Cristoforo. He'll skate this one forward. Down low he goes. Around the Barrie net. Anthony Cristoforo back to Woodall. Carson Woodall skates this one down low. Takes the shot. Blocked. Stopped by Horebic. Nesbitt comes up with it. Backhand pass to Belches. Belches at the point. Goes up to Woodall. Woodall to Nesbitt. In front. And that one's knocked aside. Woodall back to the blue line. Here is Belches in front. Deflected. Rebound. Kicked aside. Somehow that stays out. As a Spitfire player is dumped into the Barrie net. And somehow Ben Horebic makes the save.
A big save there by Horebic, keeping Barrie in the game. And, of course, Windsor get close to him. You know, Gabriel Eliasson's going to have something to say about that. lost his glove there, and the Windsor player ended up flipping it back into the net as Madison went to retrieve it.
Oh my goodness. So there's still 1:02 left in this power play for Windsor. Faceoff will come to the left of Harevic. Spalacy is going to take the draw against Cole Baudouin. Faceoff picked up here by the Spitfires. At the point, Fibiger, his shot blocked in front. Rebound, side of the net. Harevic sprawling out. He's able to cover it up, but I think we're going to get a penalty here against Windsor. There was a slash there as Ben Harevic was covering up the puck. And it looks as though AJ Spalacy is going to go off.
Yeah, he was there. So was Ethan Garden trying to jam away at that puck as Fibiger sent it to the net. Garden's trying to knock it out of midair, and then that's Spalacy right after the whistle there. And then smart job by Barrie. They started to come after him, and then Aitchison right away dragging both other Colts there away. Minding them, we need the 4-on-4 here. Can't be taking a retaliatory penalty.
So 5:25 left to go in the hockey game. It's now 4-on-4 for 55 seconds. Face-off won by Windsor. Villeneuve will give that one up. Robinson skates it ahead for the Spitfires. He'll reach center ice. Robinson carries this one in, taken away there by Hemming. Emil Hemming skates this the other way for the Barrie Colts. Enters the zone. Hemming takes a bump there from Robinson. Puck goes to the corner. Baudouin can't get to it. Garden will skate it out now for the Spitfires. Fibiger receives the pass, trying to get around Aitchison. Fibiger to the net, poked away by Harevic. Puck's loose. After it now is Cole Emerton. Emerton's going to skate this one back. 20 seconds, and then the Colts are going to get an abbreviated power play. Kayshawn Aitchison along the boards, drops this one back, but Hemming wasn't there in time. Hemming, his pass doesn't connect with Emerton. Picked up here by the Spitfires. Kennedy looks at the clock. 4 seconds left. Desiderio about to come out of the penalty box. So it is now a Barrie Colts power play presented by Frontline Hockey Apparel. You can find them at frontlinehockeyapparel.com. 57 seconds to work with. Von Richter. He's going to skate this one up for Barrie. That goes off a leg. Side of the net. Von Richter's dumped. Puck's rolling. Von Richter. Backhand pass. Wilmot blocked by Greentree. Liam Greentree is going to go for a skate shorthanded. Greentree. He's run into by Crombie. Colts move it up. Far side. That's Ben Wilmot. 33 seconds left in the man advantage. Von Richter fires, and that goes wide of the net. Ben Wilmot. Along the boards, picked up by Zabeski. Zabeski, high slot, fires, stopped by Newlove. As the Colts get a couple of looks, but this Spitfires team always a threat shorthanded.
Yeah, Windsor setting up some chances. Liam Greentree getting out back the other way. Nice play by Crombie to keep it down. Newlove forgot about the power play. He was heading off for the TV timeout. I was confused there because he was coming up. I don't think anyone knows that the TV timeout's not, or are we getting the timeout now?
Well, Philins Moskowitz already used his timeout, so it would have to be Windsor.
Well, it doesn't look like we're getting it, though.
Well, the Spitfires bench, they're pretty upset about something.
I think. Well, now, Barrie's got 6, so Harebic's coming to the bench.
Off for the extra attacker.
I wonder if Barrie kind of used Newlove going off to their advantage and kind of used it as a makeshift timeout there. Quick strategy, I think.
Well, 3:48 left to go in the period. 23 seconds on the man advantage. Face-off won by the Spitfires. They're going to try and get it down the ice, but it ends up at center. Emerton over to Hemming. Emil Hemming, he'll dump this one in. Around the boards it goes. Aitchison takes a hit there from Walton. Puck's behind the net. Kennedy, open cage. It's bouncing, and it's going to go wide of the net because of the penalty. And then Villeneuve kicks out the leg of Emerton, or at least that's what it looked like from here. Play continues. Baudouin skates this one in. Power play has expired. Baudouin to the net, crashes into Newlove. Play continues. Puck goes down the ice. Won't be enough for icing. 3 minutes left to go in the third period. Empty net. Colts have the extra attacker. Hemming through the neutral zone, avoids the check from Nesbitt. He's going to send this one around. Gardner can't get to it. Spitfires clear it out. Went off a player's stick for the Colts, so no icing. Parker Von Richter back to pick it up. 2:48 now to go in the period. Hemming Up to Bodwin, back to Hemming. Hemming skates this one in for the Colts, weaves his way in, drops it to Aitchison. His shot goes over the net. That's going to sail back to the point. Von Richter couldn't get there in time. 2.5 minutes now remaining. Brad Gardner at center ice. He's going to carry it in for the Colts. Trying to go up the middle. Stopped by Fibiger. Greentree loses it. Back to the blue line. Von Richter. Aitchison wants it. Fires and just misses that far post. Fibiger trying to get it out. Spellacy sends it. Now it's Greentree after it. Aitchison trying to cut him off. Empty net. It's rolling and into the net it goes. And then Aitchison slams down Greentree. And now we're going to have some mayhem after the empty net goal. You got Cole Bodwin and Fibiger going at it. Everybody's got a partner, and Greentree celebrating in the middle of it. Kayshawn Aitchison still in a bit of a tilt as Liam Greentree celebrates in the midst of all the mayhem.
Well, you kind of figured that was going to happen when Aitchison and Greentree. Oh, Von Richter is still going at it with Spellacy now in the corner. Is you kind of figure Greentree and Aitchison racing for that puck, and then they battle it all the way into the net. That'll put this game to bed. The two of them going at it. It kicks into the net, and then Aitchison slams Greentree down to the ground. Bodwin and Spellacy go at it. Sticks, gloves, helmets everywhere. Bodwin's still at Cristoforo. Everyone's kind of kicking sticks. And now Von Richter's going at Cristoforo.
Well, there's Parker Von Richter. He is livid.
Well, the refs are kind of getting in the way, but not fully. And so everyone's just kicking each other's sticks.
And now you got Cole Bodwin going after Liam Greentree. As Greentree, he's just taunting some of the Barrie Colts players. He's been sticking out his tongue and whatnot. My, oh my, this has been wild.
Well, none of them have control out there right now. Like, everyone's just kicking each other's sticks. And
well, they're all stomping on sticks, too.
I know. Greentree's back out there. He was...
Well, things are just wild here at the WFCU Centre. As Greentree's still celebrating as he's being sent off to the penalty box. As this place has just gone electric. It's a yard sale in the corner. And the official looks like he's sending somebody off. The official trying to get some order here. It looks like Ben Wilmot's being sent off. He's been given a misconduct. So Wilmot's now going down the tunnel. As this game has gotten out of hand here in Windsor, and that penalty box is now full.
Well, it feels like yesterday again, because someone's coming out with a paper to get everything written down. And Walter's getting an explanation now, and poor Nadeau now he's the one that gets has to figure out whose stick is whose.
Well, Eliasson's going over to try and help out.
Well, Vader's going to grab a stick, and now Eliasson's going to figure out whose gloves are whose.
My, oh my. As the frustrations have boiled over here in Windsor for the Barrie Colts, now down 3-0 after the empty net goal. It all started when Greentree and Aitchison were racing for that loose puck. Aitchison was trying to kick it away and ended up rolling into the net, and then Aitchison wrestling Greentree onto the ice. And then everybody had a dance partner. Greentree was celebrating in the midst of the chaos. And then we saw players stomping on sticks. It's not something you really want to be seeing, is the taunting and then players even stomping on sticks and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know if the officials exactly knew what to do at the end there. I mean, they got a hold of one guy, and then there's another fight happening behind them, and then a wild finish here. Something we've basically seen this 3 straight games now. Barrie Sarnia, Barrie Windsor, Barrie Brantford.
Well, last night there was the situation in the second period where the line brawl, where the linesman had to kind of let a couple of Sarnia players go maybe prematurely, and they ended up going after Barrie players.
It was Hall and Edgar were tied up. The official got in between them, but then kind of let Hall go, and he was like, okay, well, if you're going to let me go, I'll go after Eliason too.
And we saw something similar here where the linesman was just having, maybe they're just overwhelmed with everything going on around them, letting players go, and then they just rejoin in another tilt. Like, I know the linesmen, they don't have the easiest of jobs. When you've got players just throwing fists and you are supposed to go between them, and it was both teams. I'm not just I'm not just saying it was the Windsor players who were carrying away. Even the Barrie Colts players.
Barrie started it with Aitchison going after Greentree, and then, but like you mentioned, they're too focused on one. You got two officials in on one fight, and then there's two guys behind them punching each other, and another guy behind them kicking sticks around. Like, you got to have control of the game. I mean, obviously, there's 10 players out there and 4 officials, so you can't have everyone, but you can't have 3 officials focused on one fight while 2 guys are fighting behind them.
Well, right now it's under review. I almost wonder if they're reviewing if Greentree may have kicked the puck into the net.
Maybe.
I know Aitchison, it looked like he tried to kick it to not go in, but
could you imagine after all that it's no goal?
This place would go insane.
Who's going to be out on the ice to finish the game? It'll be back at a 2-0 game.
Well, there's 4 players in the box for the Windsor Spitfires. I can't tell who it is, but one player's sitting in the corner, so he can't fit on the bench in the penalty box.
7.
Is that Nesbitt, maybe?
I think it might be Nesbitt. Greentree I saw go in there. I want to say Spellacy was in there.
Yeah, Spellacy was sent. There's only...
Barrie side, is there 2 or 3? I see 8.
Well, there's only 2 Colts.
Wilmot got sent off as well.
Yeah, he was given a misconduct. I wonder if he was given the misconduct for stomping on sticks.
Well, then there's probably 5 other guys that should have got misconducts too.
Yeah.
Saginaw beat Peterborough.
Oh, my.
Sorry.
You got excited. I was
like,
that.
Whoa.
So they're right now off the headset. So Joe Monette, the official, so he's talking to the timekeeper, probably still trying to figure out the penalties.
And nothing's been posted on the OHL website yet. And you're probably right about the potential kick because they haven't put anyone up for a 5.
Well, nothing's been posted on the board penalty-wise. They did put it up. It's 3-0 on the scoreboard here, but as you mentioned, officially,
Connor's got 3 assistants now.
So right now they're trying to figure out, was that kicked into the empty net? That would just...
Oh, man.
If it's no goal now,
who's left to play?
But now you figure all the players that are in the penalty box for both teams.
It's like all the stars. I don't see... Is Baudouin on the bench even? Or is he in the box too and we can't see him?
Well, I think it's Von Richter and Aitchison in the box. Baudouin may have been sent off with Wilmot.
I don't see Baudouin, so you're going to have to go Gardner, Zabeski. I mean, if it is no goal, Emerton will be on the point. Oh, I see Baudouin. He's beside Passmore.
Okay,
Baudouin's over with the defense.
All 4 Windsor players are coming out of the box. William Greentree is leading the pack.
Well, the entire Windsor team's on the...
They're all lining up and giving them high fives as they go off. And then Aitchison, he's going to be sent off along with Von Richter. So the penalty box is suddenly empty.
Now Windsor stick taps to Aitchison and Von Richter. And I guess the goal counted. Maybe they were reviewing that.
Well, the referee is coming over. We actually have only 1 referee. I only see Joe Monette. I don't know where Hayden Verbeek went.
No, I only noticed 3 at some point in the corner there. All right, first penalty's up. It's Nesbitt for 2 minutes.
Yeah. Right now, Smoskowitz is getting an explanation from Monette. I don't know where Hayden Verbeek went, the second referee.
2, 3, yeah.
So we're missing a referee right now. Desiderio is now heading over to the penalty box.
So I wonder if Barrie gets 2 penalties.
Well, we still have 2:12 left to go in the game. So Greg Walters is now getting an explanation. So I think
Is it 3-0 and a Windsor power play and 3 refs, or?
but they've got Nesbitt's number on the board, so it looks like.
But how did Desiderio end up in the box?
And they pointed at center ice, so I do believe that goal is going to count. So it is in fact 3-0. So Desiderio is in the penalty box for the Barrie Colts. The door remains open for Windsor because somebody needs to serve the penalty for Jack Nesbitt.
But Windsor's got 5 guys out there. Unless Harvey's going over to serve. Yeah, he's going over to serve. Oh, now the penalty. No, the penalty's on Wilmot now.
Okay, so now. Okay, so Wilmot's been given the extra.
So it's a Windsor power play.
So after all that, the Spitfires go on the man advantage. Their 5th of the hockey game. It is 3-0, and we're down a referee. So you'll have to look at the sheet to see what the penalties are here. What a game. So the Colts shorthanded. Spitfires will skate this one up. Here's Robinson. Skates this one in for Windsor. Up to Garden. Garden loses it to Schneid, then recovers, sends it behind the Barrie net. Teague Vader sends this one ahead. Shorthanded is William Schneid. Schneid coming in on goal. Tucks it around. Backhand. Misses the net. Loose puck picked up by McKeish. Gives it up to Harvey. Harvey fans on it. Schneid takes it again shorthanded. Fires stopped by Newlove. So a couple of shorthanded chants there for William Schneid. As he'll hold on to it.
Well, if one player's had a really good game tonight for the Colts, I'd say it's William Schneid. He's been around the net a couple times. He had some good looks in the first period, and then again there, really a good shift there. Obviously, Barrie time running low on them right now, and just trying anything. So obviously, shorthanded, you're still attacking. Liam Greentree at that point now, second most in Windsor Spitfires history. He's still over 100 behind Bill Bowler, but.
Yeah, but that's still quite the accomplishment, especially with all the history here with this Windsor Spitfires organization. So congratulations there to Liam Greentree, but Spitfires carry it in. They're on the power play still for another minute, 2. Back to the point, Ferran. He'll skate this one ahead, drops it back to Walton. Walton from the point to Ferran, back to the point. Here's Brown, sends it down low. Spitfires moving around. Loose puck taken away by McCormick. Jonah McCormick just going to send this down the ice as we're now in the final minute of the third period. 3-0 for the Windsor Spitfires. As the Barrie Colts 11-game winning streak on the line. Walton through center. Drops this one back. Kennedy to the net. Dabowski was there. Picked up by Vader. Teague Vader's going to skate this one ahead. They're just announcing all the penalties, so hopefully we'll get to that to figure out how it all ended up. Spitfires moving up. Dabowski kicks that one ahead. Back to pick it up is Newton. 22 seconds left in the period. Hanser, he's just going to dump this one down the ice. They want to let the clock run out. Newlove leaves it for Garden. Garden down low. He'll send it around. 11 seconds left. As the Windsor Spitfires took over this hockey game in the second period. And they will go on to win this one by a final score of 3-0 as the Barrie Colts winning streak has come to an end.
Well, a great game tonight by Windsor. They started a bit slow, but with about 5 minutes left in the first period, Windsor started taking this game over and started playing a bit better. And then in the second and third, it was all Spitfires, and definitely a big win for Windsor here as Flint currently tied 3-3 with Ottawa. And now this is a pretty cool celebration. Costanzo and Newlove doing the play action pass like in football. And Spitfires, obviously a big win here as they battle with Flint. And for Barrie, you know, it's a tough loss, but at the end of the day, a really good run, 11 straight wins. They've been playing really good hockey as of late, and a tough one today on the second half of a back-to-back on the road, and they'll have to reset for a couple big games this week.
And Michael Newlove getting the shutout with 21 saves. And what a performance from him here tonight. Because in that first period, Windsor was having difficulties getting shots on net, getting anything going. And the Barrie Colts, they were playing their game, the typical Barrie Colts style. But obviously, something was said in the first intermission. Greg Walters was able to inspire his group because they took it over. And in the first period, I think, too, there was a lot of undisciplined plays by the Windsor Spitfires. And, they kind of tightened up in that second, and the Barrie Colts just couldn't respond.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned. I mean, right off the start of this game, Barrie was playing the exact way that Dylan Smoskowitz always talks about them playing. I mean, they were all over Windsor and not letting them get any lanes to the net, and it looked like a regular Barrie Colts game. But in the second and third, Windsor took control, and Barrie, obviously, they'll have to make some adjustments. I don't think there's anything to panic about. I mean, they beat Brantford and Ottawa over the last couple of weeks. There's nothing to panic about right now. And at the end of the day, you just didn't get much offense this weekend. Only 2 goals for Barrie last night against Sarnia, none tonight. And the tight battle with Windsor score-wise, 2-0 for the Spitfires plus an empty netter. And Windsor sweeps the season series.
And then, of course, frustrations just took over there for the Barrie Colts. Now we'll have to wait and see, will there be any additional suspensions? Because we saw that at the end of the game last week against the Brantford Bulldogs, where Carter Lowe and Luke Govro ended up being suspended for what happened in that hockey game, a slew foot for Carter Lowe, and then the fight penalty suspension for Govro. So we'll have to wait and see. And it did get pretty ugly there after Liam Greentree scored that empty net goal. And it's, you don't want to see that.
No.
Where both teams were doing it. They're both stomping on each other's sticks. They were breaking away from linesmen just to get into another fight. So it was ugly, but still, what a game here from the Windsor Spitfires, who are playing in their third in 3 nights, and they gave it to the Barrie Colts here.
Yeah, similar to Barrie's win last weekend against Brantford, where it's like, you think, okay, Brantford's got the advantage, and then Barrie wins. Well, Windsor did the exact same thing to Barrie tonight. They've added Windsor's penalties for 10-man misconduct for Cristoforo, roughing for Nesbitt, 10-man misconduct Nesbitt, and then fighting for Spellacy so far. And I do believe anyone that gets a fighting major off that is going to get suspended because of in the last 5 minutes of the game. And then they'll go from there. And obviously, Barrie, you got to be careful. You can't take a suspension there. You got Brantford on Thursday. You can't come into that game shorthanded. Yeah, you're still down 3 points, and this loss puts you in a pretty tough spot when it comes to first place in the conference, but you still got a chance. You can't give Brantford a free 2 points because you're down 3 players on Thursday.
Yeah, and now with this loss for the Barrie Colts, you mentioned the stat at the beginning of the game, how the Windsor Spitfires are the only team to not give up a point to the Barrie Colts this season. So now the Windsor Spitfires are perfect 2-0 against Barrie in regulation time.
Yeah, at the end of the season, they'll be the only ones that they didn't get points against, and then the only other team you have to add is the Sioux Greyhounds for teams the Barrie Colts didn't beat this season. And the 2 teams that were a part of that early stretch of the year, the slow start. And then here tonight, obviously, Windsor, a big win again. And it's just so important for playoffs down the stretch, getting that home ice advantage for a team of Windsor. You want to have that home ice against Flint. They don't have the advantage that Barrie has right now, where they've already clinched their division. They're in a dogfight for their division, and it doesn't matter. Barrie and Ottawa can finish with more points. Barrie still gets home ice. Where Windsor Flint, that is 4 home ice in the second round, and that's going to be so pivotal in the Western Conference in the final 2 rounds.
Yeah, so those are big points here for the Windsor Spitfires. So they stay ahead of the Flint Firebirds in the West Division standings. Now we'll get to the 3 stars presented by Craighurst Crossing by Georgian Communities. New homes, minutes from North Barrie, where inspired living meets small town charm. So your 3 stars tonight, I'm not surprised. It's a clean sweep by the Windsor Spitfires. Your 3rd star, AJ Spellacy, a goal and an assist. He had the opening goal with that beautiful shot on the shorthanded marker. John McLaughlin named 2nd star.
I just looked at the stat line.
Yeah, no points for McLaughlin, although he was very involved.
He was noticeable.
Yeah.
I would have gone with Greentree, but
potentially. But McLaughlin's the 2nd star, and your 1st star, the goaltender Michael Newlove, 21 saves on 21 shots for the shutout. So great performance there for Michael Newlove, who's technically the backup goaltender. So great job there for Newlove, and give credit here to the Windsor Spitfires for this 3-0 victory on home ice. And now for the Barrie Colts, they prepare for the Brampton Steelheads on Wednesday in that school day game.
Yeah, on a point of new love, I mean, he's one of those guys drafted in the U18 draft, so it is always cool to see guys like that, panning out. It's a tough grind for guys like that. They're already, of course, 2 years older than the draft eligible guys coming into the OHL and trying to find a spot on the roster. New love got an opportunity. It's the backup here in Windsor, and he's taken it. And going forward, they're going to need a Joey Costanza replacement, and games like this help him prove that he should be that guy. And yeah, it's going to be interesting on Wednesday. Obviously, Brampton's coming off 2 very tough losses to London and Kitchener over the last 2 days. And then Barrie, they're going to be hungry. They only scored 2 goals this weekend. They lose this game to Windsor in frustrating fashion. So Wednesday should be interesting. But you can't take Brampton lightly if you're thinking about looking ahead to Thursday. You got to get through Wednesday first.
Yeah, you don't want to overlook your opponent, and we'll see what happens there. And of course, with this loss, the 11-game winning streak has come to an end, and the Barrie Colts will now have to try and start a new winning streak starting on Wednesday, which is our next broadcast. You can catch the radio call on the channel from the booth with Mike, so make sure you click subscribe so you're notified when that broadcast gets underway. So a special broadcast note, it's 11 a.m. puck drop at the CAA Centre, which means the live stream will begin at 10:45 a.m. It's going to be very weird calling a game in the morning, but we'll make the best of it.
We'll have to find some coffees and
a lot of coffee.
A lot of coffees, and off we go. Maybe double fisting.
Yeah, there you go. So anyways, that's our next broadcast. It's Wednesday morning, and then, of course, the big game on Thursday back at the Saddle Arena between the Brantford Bulldogs and the Barrie Colts. That's a 7 o'clock start, and we'll have the Colin Rogers TV, or if you're going to be at the game, we will see you there. So
we got to go. Like Gene left. I'm scared he might get lost in the elevators and the stairs.
Yeah. So on that note, for Gene Pereira and Josh McCann, I'm Mike Poirier saying so long from the WFCU Centre in Windsor, where it's a 3-0 final for the Windsor Spitfires.